Straight out of Compton, crazy motherfucker named Ice Cube, from a gang called Niggers with Attitude. When I'm called off, I gotta sawed off, squeeze the trigger and bodies are hauled off. You too, boy, if you fuck with me, police are gonna have to come and get me off your ass. That's how I'm going out. For the punk motherfuckers, it's showing out. Niggas start to mumble, they wanna rumble, mix 'em and cook 'em up in a pot like gumbo. Going off on a motherfucker like that with a gat that's pointed at your ass. So give it up smooth, ain't no telling when I'm down for a jack move. Here's a murder rap to keep you dancing, with a crime record like Charles Manson. My AK-47 is a tool, don't make me act a motherfucking fool. Maybe you can go toe-to-toe, maybe I'm knocking niggas out the box daily, weekly, yo, monthly and yearly, until them dumb motherfuckers see clearly that I'm down with a capital CPT. You can't fuck with me, so when I'm in your neighborhood, you better duck, 'cause Ice Cube is crazy as fuck. As I leave, believe I'm stomping, but when I come back, boy, I'm coming straight out of Compton. Coming straight out of Compton.
All right, what is up, fam? I believe we are live. Welcome to Podcasting Under the Influence, Episode 1. Fun fact, it's not actually Episode 1. There were a lot of episodes on SoundCloud that none of y'all got to hear. I don't even know, really, if they still exist. But if they do yourself a favor and go seek them out. So, yeah, we're here in the day of our apocalypse. And we're going to call some friends. We're going to bring some guests on. I hope y'all can hear me okay. We're going to check and make sure. But we have an appetizer, in fact. Before we even get there, we have an appetizer. We are going to call some friends. We're going to discuss just, how people are getting by in this funky, fresh day and age, I guess, was how I'd put it best. Did that rhyme? I think that rhymed. But anyway, let's, I got people messaging me already. Looking to get on. We've been here 30 seconds. I got people looking to get on. So, you know what? Let's get to our appetizer, because I happen to think it's wonderful. I just saw it today. I hope you love it as much as I do. I don't know if you all hate TED Talks as much as I do. I think they're very pretentious and stupid for the most part. I think it's a bunch of dorky hipsters like wanking each other off. But apparently there's a comedian named Sam Hyde who also felt exactly the way I do and showed up for a TED Talk, and it's one of the funniest things I've ever seen. So let's go to it, and we'll see if you like it as much as I do, because I thought it was incredible. As you can see, I just watched it today.
Pat on the back, everybody.
Start this over. All right. Now I'm going to turn on the desktop audio a bit, just because setting this is more art than science. I can already tell it's a little bit loud.
Every continent and has been featured on television.
His work spans every continent, and it's been featured on television.
He recently returned from Mogadishu, the most dangerous city on
Mogadishu, the most dangerous city on earth.
women on their quest to clean up the streets and restore humanity.
I'm sorry, I'm already dying.
I present to you Sam Hyde, 2070 Paradigm Shift.
Sam Hyde, 2070 Paradigm Shift. So he's also kind of a troll who, like, it ends up being like, people think he does every like mass shooting. They're like, oh, Sam Hyde did this shooting, Sam Hyde did that mass shooting. He's weirdly, strangely brilliant. He's in like a suit of armor and like a PJ pants. He's got his notes.
Give me like 25 seconds here.
Give me 25 seconds. If you've ever seen a single TED Talk, this is the funniest thing in the world. I don't know. I hope you all like this as much as I do.
I don't like turn my head into it. Can you like? How about now? Test. Hey, there you go. Yeah, I'll talk to you later. You're doing a good job. Oh man. Okay. Can we reset the clock so I have another minute extra, please? Thank you. There we go. Okay. Hey, I wanted to start sitting down anyway. Guys, pat yourselves on the back right now. Okay, let's do it. Come on, everybody. I'm not gonna let you stop until I see everybody doing it. Let's pat ourselves on the back.
Pat yourselves on the back.
There we go. You two, you're patting each other. That's cheating. You couldn't keep your hands off her, could you? Yeah. Hey, I don't blame you. She's a cutie. Hey guys, that pat on the back.
It gets better than this.
Saving the world. I'm looking at young minds right now. You guys are all intelligent. I know that you did good in school. I didn't see that.
Saving the
You
world.
especially.
The world's.
Very smart. Look at us. We're the machine that keeps the world going. Okay? I'd like to start this talk off with a parable, a story, if you will. I was at a college, a second tier, not an Ivy League school, a second choice school. And I was in a class, and there was a student in that class, okay? And the teacher, he was spouting some horrible nonsense about how it was something about how women's rights are not legitimate, something that everybody knew was false. But if anybody had spoken up, he would have taken extreme joy in failing them, okay? Nobody spoke up. One person raised his voice. One person started talking. The teacher couldn't believe it. The classroom couldn't believe it either. But in the end, he had logic on his side. And at the end of the day, he proved his point.
Proved his point.
It was Albert Einstein.
The crowd has no idea what he's talking about. He can't even hold it together.
And that same sense of childlike play and innocence that we know from Albert Einstein, I can sense it in this room today. TEDx, Drexel University, Next X. So you got to be thinking to yourselves right now, who's this 22-year-old kid up on stage with a chip on his shoulder and his heart on his sleeve and the world in his eyes? Well, that's a tough question, asking somebody to define who they are. I much prefer to ask, what inspires that person? What inspires you? What inspires you?
All right, people. I've got our first guest booked after in about 12 minutes. I've got our first guest booked.
Don't worry about it.
As soon as we're done watching Sam Hyde.
Possibilities. What
Possibilities.
inspires me is teaching African refugees how to program JavaScript. What inspires me is finding out how to use maglev trains to get resources to the moon. These are the challenges that tomorrow's going to face.
So to be clear, like he's making fun of like the whole like TED Talk sort of like, oh, I'm going to talk in really big words and really fast and that's the wave of the future. You know.
The second thing that inspires me are ideas. Ideas are amazing. Ideas are like currency. Ideas are what drives the world.
I've watched this like 3 times today.
The next stage. And not just great inventions like the train, little things like this microphone that enables me to speak to the unwashed masses. TED Talks. TED Talks are another great idea.
I should post the link for the stream.
And we have to talk about it because great ideas don't come in all shapes and sizes. 9/11, September 11th. And we're going to use some reverence here and not be silly about this, but look at what they accomplished with no weapons and just 11 guys who didn't even speak English. And that proves that sometimes...
Just 11 guys who didn't even speak English. Okay.
So,
oh, God.
I'm Sam Hyde. I'm an important thinker. I'm a creator, innovator, artist, idea.
Oh.
But above all else, I'm a passionate, childlike innovator.
All right. If y'all like this, you probably kind of get the idea. Let me bring on our first guest here. Sorry, Sam.
I've been all around the globe working on cutting-edge projects of all kinds. And I'm here to ask you one question. Where are we at?
I think this is one of the funnier things I've ever seen. I was going to watch the entire thing on stream, but like I said, I've watched it a couple times today, so it's really, really funny. He's a really, really funny guy. So let's bring on our first guest if we can get a hold of him. Just bear with me here, and we're going to give him a holler. Boy and streaming fun. It's kind of the ball game, everybody. You gotta, especially if you're bad at it like I am. Just typing in a number right quick here. Oh, don't say that out loud, even though he's often very, very public with his number. He's happy to chat with anybody, in fact. Working on getting that first guest. Hello!
Oh, hey, hi.
Sal God dang Hennick. I'm going to turn down my mic and turn yours up a little bit. How you doing, man?
That way you'll be able to hear me better.
That's the idea.
Oh, I'm just fine.
In any case...
You don't have to block your number when you call me.
Welcome to the show. I would like to...
Turn this off here.
Just mute it at least. There's bound to be a little bit of a delay.
Mute it.
And that echo will drive me nuts. So, some
the technology today.
Some streamers can handle that echo. I cannot. So, Sal, we're talking about the virus. It goes by many names.
Oh, I've heard about it.
Have you?
The virus. They're asking you to stay indoors because of it. Because the indoors. Yes. Some of them call it all kinds of different names. And some of the names, if you call it, they consider it to be racist, and I don't agree. But yes, a lot. I know what you mean though by the virus. Sure.
Well,
been on the news.
Sal, my question to you is: how has this personally affected your life?
Oh, not much at all there, Kevin. I don't work, and I haven't worked for about a year because I could see things like this coming down the pike. And, I'm a homebody. And so I stay at home. And so not too much at all, actually. I really don't go outdoors hardly ever. Now, I am on a zero income. And I have a very low cost of living,
sure.
But I need like my cell phone, and I have a cat, a companion animal, a cat, and so he needs his cat litter and cat food, and so for those items, I'm reliant on people to give me a donation, to give me a few dollars, and as such, there's about 3 people who have helped me over the last year, especially. And all 3 of them lost their jobs or got laid off temporarily as a result of this.
Holy cow.
So it certainly has put those people in a different financial status.
Often
course,
better,
now,
by the way. It's often better.
I was going to share with you that as of today, it seems that they're better off. And so I'm hoping that my funds will go up quite a bit as such. I hope that those that would give me $30 will now be able to give me $90. So, but we'll just have to wait and see.
It's kind of wacky though, right? Like the government just had this ability to just like chuck money at us this whole time, and it took like a crisis to make it happen.
But we couldn't build a border wall for $5 billion or whatever. They had to make a big deal about that for forever and a day. And then they just suddenly could give out $150 billion or $250 billion, whatever we ended up giving out here.
Yeah.
Trillions. It ended up being $2 trillion.
Well, and a lot of that went to the upper classes, and there's lots of very studious research which suggests that the walls maybe efficient, maybe not. I would suggest probably not. But a lot of that money went to the upper classes, whereas a lot of stimulus checks got ripped from some lower class folks. It didn't get ripped from me. I got mine, but certain other somewhat lower to middle class folks don't have a check coming, and I don't know. I don't think that's right necessarily, but you seem to be kind of okay with it.
Well, in my situation, as I've shared with you over the days prior offline, of course, is that, I'm in arrears on my child support, and therefore I'm not receiving one of these checks. And I did work in 2018, so my 2018 and 2019 tax returns were showing my income as such that I would qualify otherwise. And but I'm not getting one, and I believe that I'm the only class of working people who are not getting one because I'm in arrears on child support, and that's quite a shame. What doesn't make sense to me about that is that they're not sending my check to child support. If they were going to say, well, you're in arrears, so we're going to take your $1,200 and apply it to your debt, then I would be fine with that. But because they're just saying, well, we're not even going to cut a check because you're in arrears, it doesn't make a lot of sense to me that obviously people would pay their child support in most cases if they could afford to.
Obviously.
And so that's a kind of a fly in the ointment. Now, here's the other side of it. Now, people that didn't get a check also are people who don't work, homeless people and so on. And the homeless people are really taking a big hit because their library is closed, their safe places to go during the day, their places to use technology, and then their places to get a meal. A lot of those missions and places they could go and get a meal are gone right now. And so they've, I suspect, got it worse than just about anybody out of this, and they're not getting any relief. And let's see, those people, and then the people that are on a fixed income like Social Security, my understanding is that they're going to get a $250 deposit on their Social Security or whatever. And to me, that's perfectly fine because they didn't lose anything to begin with. They're not losing a job or income, so they're getting an additional $250. The only thing that I felt like I or people really should get that stimulus for initially was that I thought that we would be forced to stay in our home for many months and that the stores would be closed. I felt that, and it still could happen.
Well, yeah, it may still be coming. They're talking about like the post office going down, for instance. Like that's a real thing. That could happen by September.
And there was even talk of June at one point. So
yeah.
So yes, and so you hear these different things where they say, well, there's this Missouri city is going to cancel the 4th of July celebration, and you see these other things that are out there, and then you got at times people saying, oh, I think the churches will be packed on Easter, and you see these different dates that are often related to holidays, because I personally said Labor Day would be the earliest that we will really be reopened, and I've been saying that for weeks, and very possibly well into next year. But then you start hearing all this talk about peak, that, oh, the states are going to start peaking, and then it's all going to be fine, and, oh, China and Asia are all, their virus is all gone now, and we're told, and I just don't know what to buy on that. Now, the Texas, for example, their governor has stated, one, that churches are essential business, and so people can all go congregate at church.
Yeah, what do you think about that, by the way? Do you have any specific thoughts about it? Because I think it's really irresponsible, personally, but... Yes. What I think is if it had been open on Easter, it could have been very dangerous because I think people would have went out in large numbers. I think that, I think quite a few people will choose to stay home with the churches being open, and they'll just say, yeah, that's good that they're open, but we don't think we'll go.
and therefore I think the people that go will probably be able to stay pretty well separated within the churches.
But they just had
there
those
was one that
protests.
was-
They just had those protests today, right? Where there were like a couple hundred people gathered at a time. It's like I don't know if you saw any of those pictures, but it seemed a little.
No.
I don't know.
I
What do you think?
didn't. I know Sunday it was supposed to. They were supposed to have protests on Sunday, and I don't know that got anywhere.
I see.
But I'd heard I had a couple, things I saw about that. Whoa, we can't be forced to stay in our homes anymore, and all this business. And I've got some. I hope they all catch it while they're out together. But in any event, I don't see this going well. And what I see happening is that, first of all, the church business, I think if I don't agree with it being deemed essential and them allowing it, but I think that the churches that open their doors without the ruling telling them they could, I think that those leadership should be punished severely, legally. And I saw somewhere that 16 churchgoers or something were arrested for it. And, going back a few days. And they did say there that they were spread out because there were only 16 people out of a whole church that showed up. So, that's not like having 250 people show up to the church probably, unless they all get together for the cookies or something, and that might be in a small room, and you always get your cookies if you go to church. Not a lot of other reason to go, really.
Oh,
I'll have you know,
we're not going there.
Oh, I'm a religious person, Kev. I'm a Christian. I don't like the church going to it. In any event, Kevin, I will just let you know also about all this business with these protests. Oh, that's illegal because you can't go out in groups. And I'll have you know that usually in Portland where I live, we'll have these nice Antifa boys and girls that already were ahead of the time with their face covering. And, they'll go out and they'll cause some trouble. And they'll start talking about how they don't like President Trump, but then before long they realize that they see policemen, and then they lose their attention and decide to focus on them and don't like police.
So Sal, can I tell you, I think the Antifa thing has always been so overstated. Maybe it's because I moved out of downtown and used to live down there. I've never, ever thought that was as a big of a deal or as severe of a deal as people want to make it in the national media or whatever. But sorry, carry on.
And when you lived down here, you didn't think it was a big deal.
That's true. I really didn't. No,
and when
I saw it one
worked
time
downtown, just once, and when you were going to work there that time.
Yeah. Once out of 1,000 days living down there.
Yeah. Well, I'm not a fan of them and their behaviors, but in any event, their methods to their madness there. But the point is normally the protesters, the Antifa, the whatever it is that they want to protest, whoever it is, Antifa, Black Lives Matter, whoever it is, the Wall Street stuff,
sure.
Way back when, usually they either have a permit to do their protests through the city ahead of time, where the police will actually kind of escort them on their parade route and whatever. Or at least have an agreement that, okay, you guys can do this and you can't do that. But I think they will sit there eventually during those times and they will say, oh, this has now become an unlawful assembly. You need to go home. If you don't, we're going to start shooting tear gas at you and stuff. And my point is that under these circumstances, I suspect that the patience level will be extremely low from the authorities,
sure.
Because one, they're not going to have permits, and two, given the case that they really don't think it's a great idea to be standing face to face with a bunch of diseased, potentially infected virus people, that would be an issue. One thing, Kevin, that I was looking at in the data, I just don't know if I believe it from one day to the next on the what I'm seen on this website. I can't tell you exactly what it is, Worldometers or something like that.
Yeah.
For where they show the different states and the different countries. They're recording
it's the
for
site you're posting all the time, right?
Oh yes, but maybe some of your listeners don't know about my post yet. But yes,
Sal, I don't have
the
listeners.
world.
It's just us here. I don't have listeners.
It's just oh dear me, Kevin. Oh dear. When I was on there just a minute ago, or a while ago, there said you had 4 viewers.
I try to pretend.
You got all your accounts going at once. Well, I'm one too. I'm going to thumbs it up anyway. Well, you got a good guest, Eddie.
Sal, my question is this: Are you opposed to?
Oh, good.
Are you opposed to adding other people to the call while you're on the call? If so, I'll wait.
Oh.
But if you're not opposed to it, I will. It's up to you.
That one jackass from California going to be on? I don't.
No,
you don't know who he is.
It's me and Josh interviewed you when you were running for president. He was very nice.
Oh, I remember him.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm gonna call him.
Nice fella there. Oh, sure. He bought me a hamburger once.
Is that right? We'll see if he answers.
I bet he will, since you've said all this stuff ahead of time.
I tried. I told him I'd be calling. Well, sure. I have other friends who are on Discord, and I'm not sure if I can add them to the same call. Josh, are you there? Josh, hello.
Can you
pick it up? Pick it up.
You have reached the voicemail box of 513.
Oh no, I think I hung up on everybody. I'm sorry. I'm gonna at least call back. Okay, I'm gonna at least call back Sal. My mistake, everyone. Sorry. I just didn't want to give you all Josh's number. So, Jose, we love you, man. Welcome. If you want to come on, let me know. Let me know. God dang it, Josh. All right, well, we'll call Sal back anyway. That button will... I can use Skype, everyone. Very good at this. Okay. Please hold. Call. Okay. I know exactly what I'm doing wrong here. Technical difficulties. I don't do this very often, but of course, I would like to know how the Rona is affecting all of y'all. Maybe I just have to dial it again. Let's do that. Let's see. Let's reopen that call. Oh. Uh-oh. What what a compelling stream. Sorry, buddy. We're working on it. All right, we're gonna call back our good pal Sal. You better call Sal. That's my motto. Oh, okay, so he's actually the 971. So, new call, the 971 number. And we call it. There we go. My goodness, what a god-awful stream.
What a time that was. I better call Sal. I like it.
This is painful. I'm sorry, Sal. It went to our pal Josh's voicemail, and I didn't want to...
we almost all got his number.
I didn't want to just broadcast that over the internet. Was
No, there's 6 or 7 young ladies that would probably want it, and oh dear, they'd all be fighting each other.
I would not do that to
Well,
that guy.
No, heavens no. Oh dear, well here we are, and oh gosh, how about this coronavirus, huh?
Sal, where do you think it started? Do you have any thoughts
China.
about that?
The country of China, probably. Now, I
Okay,
did
well, it
see,
started on planet Earth, but I think we could probably get a little more specific than that, right?
Oh, you mean like a laboratory with a slanted-viewed fella that was had maybe ties to Bill Gates and evil intentions for the whole world? Oh, probably.
Again, I request that you not get me banned off YouTube.
Well, you asked the question.
Our pal Harrison.
You asked the question.
Our pal Harrison is in the chat, and Jose is in
Oh,
the chat.
he's a nice boy. I like Harrison
Oh,
there.
he's a good lad.
Yes, it's too bad that he doesn't understand just how terrible Tom Hanks is. But other than that, yes, he's a good Canadian, isn't he? He's from Canada.
I'm telling them if they have Skype, we'll be happy to have them on.
Oh, good. Sure. Get them all on there. We can, Harrison has a little accent that the people like.
Boy, he sure does, doesn't he? I don't think he knows, too. It's kind of funny.
Well, and he knows a lot. And once in a while, he'll just start letting you know he knows. And that's always a good time for the program.
That's right. It's good for the program, which with our listeners you can count on one hand. Anyway, Sal, where do you think?
The fun thing about your program, the fun thing about your listeners is they can all be in it at once. So you gotta, it's not. The lines are always open.
Honestly,
that's a very good thing.
If we get a full house, it's the funnest thing.
Harrison doesn't have any vodka. He says here. He said, sadly, I don't have any Sky. And that's a vodka, I think. Well, I know that they've deemed the liquor stores essential business in some states, and in other states, church is essential.
Sal, what are you doing on my show?
In some
are we getting
places,
back to the point?
The WWE is essential.
Okay, so that's a good point, actually. So I thought that was...
I'm trying to save your show.
I thought that was very dumb. I thought that was very, very dumb. But I know you like it because you're hoping some people who work for WWE die of this virus.
Well, I'm hoping pretty much everyone does, except the 7 or 8 people that watch your program. And well, actually, just think about how rough that would be, Kevin, if there were only about 7 of us left. Oh, it would be tough. Because do you know how to make soda pop? Do you know how to get it in the bottle? Do you know how to get it from what? You need some of the people, that we have. There are some people that we would still need. I think that we have more than enough, but I think. Yes, and then you hear things, Kevin, that really do affect you when you start, maybe someone you know. You scared me earlier today telling me that a mutual friend of ours you thought was in the hospital, and then I come to find that I think it was just a meme that he had posted about
you
something.
saw the picture.
Yes, but initially, and with my glasses might not have been quite over my eyes, both of them, and I thought he was actually in the hospital.
It was really it was a harrowing experience, in my opinion.
Well, it was, and so then you start getting a little worried. And then also we have another friend who's one of the streamers, and I don't mind shouting out my friend Levon there, the little finisher.
By the way, if he goes live, let me know.
Well, I would definitely probably get off this call and go on his stream. But in any event, the point is that the little finisher is he has a friend, and I would guess that it's someone he went to school with, and he posted that he was going to miss the lady because she is dead, and I did a little research about her, and it turns out that she was shot in the head by her boyfriend, and then he shot himself in the head as well.
That sucks. That's usually a kill shot in the head.
Well, and he claims in his 911 call that he was just showing her how to use the gun, and it fired off.
Do you buy that?
And we don't know. We weren't. No, but we weren't there, and so on. But the point is, Kevin, is that I have been on record that I believe that as many deaths from the virus as there may be, these choices to have us all locked up in our homes forever and a day are going to create more trouble, including suicides, domestic violence, and just a whole lot of other things. A lot of medical procedures, people that would normally have them done, and just a lot of that business. And now we're talking about protests.
So,
Yeah,
Sal,
ahead,
I don't mean to cut you off. You have folks in the chat who would like to speak with you.
Well, I see that, and that might mean it's time to go. But I'll entertain a couple.
No, don't.
Sure, go ahead.
I'm going to tell them to Facebook DM me their phone numbers, and I can add them to the call.
Sure. Do you ever have any girls listen to your show?
Never. Sal, I don't know if you knew this, but I'm an incel. Do you know what an incel is?
Two-spirit, non-gender conforming.
It's an involuntary celibate.
Oh.
It means nobody will have...
Well, I'm abstaining this year, Kevin. So, and I like girls, but I'll have you know that I also yes, I was involuntary last year, and so this year I just made an announcement that I'm going to punish the girls 2 years in a row. But
I'm proud of you.
Because yes. Oh, good. Look who's back.
Okay. We're DM on Facebook if you want to join. That means you have to know my real name.
Your show is about to get a worldwide recognition here.
It's about to get wacky.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is yeah. You and Harrison would agree on quite a lot, in fact.
I know more than others that are wrong a lot.
So I don't know his phone number. We never exchanged phone numbers. Like we haven't.
Well, he's Canadian, you know.
Yeah, I don't know what freaking number they use up there. It's probably 12 digits long, for all I know. But yes, what are we on?
They don't. Well, I think we're protests and let's see what I'll give my before all these clowns come on and make me irritated. I'm gonna just do my final little pitch here before that we talk to some of your friends. What I see happening.
My friends are coming on to talk to you.
Well, then that's why I'll probably be leaving.
They're coming on specifically to talk to you.
I caught that. Yes. The point is, Kevin, that my prophecies have included that I believe that what's going to happen is they're going to open back up the country a bit. They're going now. See, what just happened today is people started getting their money. They got their stimulus check. A lot of people aren't going to get one ever, but a lot of people got it today.
Present company included, by the way.
Lead all these people out into the public now to buy their potato chips and batteries and whatever else they need,
right.
And be out together celebrating, probably breaking down the door of the pub. And then they'll, what's going to happen is they're going to, the other thing that people are doing is unemployment. Oh, wonderful.
Jose, are you here? Jose.
Hey, what's up, Kevin?
Jose, what's up, man? You are on live with Salvatore Hennig.
How are you, Sal?
Oh, I'm just fine, Jose, but how are you?
I'm doing well, thanks to God.
Jose, if you will give us just 1 second, Sal was kind of mid-thought, and just go ahead and finish your thought before we move on to anything else. I'm putting on my moderator hat.
My prediction here is that they're going to open things back up, and what's at some point here, and then too soon, really. And now people are just starting to get their fat checks, and so they got their $1,200 or whatever, and then they're going to get their as you call it, Kate bucks for the Oregon listeners, but for the nationally the additional $600 a week or whatever. So a lot of people are coming out ahead of what they made working. So they're not going to be in that big of a hurry to get back to their work other than to get away from their loved ones. And then what's going to happen is people are going to start getting pissy and wanting to protest that. And then people are going to get sick again. And then they're going to shut things down. And then everyone's going to be pissy. And then it's just going to be my original prediction that we're going to have many months of complete chaos and probably actually move towards martial law. And so I still recommend people use their little stimulus to stock up their home with enough food and stuff so that when they do close the stores down, that you're ready.
I used it to buy myself an audiobook of my first novel, which was not a decision I would have made. But Jose.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Thank you, sir.
We're discussing what you obviously think we're discussing.
Well, speaking of like the stimulus money, I can speak from the other perspective, because I work right now and I'm able to leave my home to go to work. First of all, I don't have that paranoia or the anxiety of not being stuck at home all the time. So I'm making, my wages just like I normally was before this hit. So like that extra stimulus money, I don't need it, nor am I going to spend it because I'm actually worried that they're going to tax it back to me. And if they do, it's like, all right, here's your $1,200 back. I don't want it.
So that was all a myth, by the way. That whole thing about like, they're just going to like, it's like a loan on your next tax return or whatever. Like I heard that everywhere. That is all not true. None of that's true.
So, I'm not saying you're wrong, Kevin, but I mean, me and you know this. We've studied government. We've studied history for a long time. Well, you longer than me. Government always wins in the end. They always find a way to make you pay. Nothing comes from the government without some kind of a string attached.
I have a GoFundMe set up too, in case anyone else doesn't want theirs, and I'm not getting one, as I might have mentioned, because of my child support being in arrears. So yes, anyway, I'll throw that out there for the listeners.
Do you have any comment on the? Well, do you think like the government's going to tax the stimulus later, Sal?
I had never heard that, and you said you heard that everywhere, but I tried to stay away from listening to the voices that aren't inside my own head, and so I didn't listen to any of that. And I think your friend is well advised to not spend it unless he needs to.
I mean, but spending
which is kind of the opposite point of the stimulus.
Exactly.
I agree.
Yeah, that's the entire point.
But I think this whole thing is a pretty not very well thought out as far as who's getting money and who's not. On the other hand, should your friend be punished for having to go work while other people are sitting at home? Should he just make his normal money and not get extra because he's one of the few people working? And by the way, I'm not paranoid either about the virus, but I choose to stay home, one, because I always did anyway, because I'm a homebody. But I don't know. It's just, I think what's going to happen isn't going to be the virus being the issue. I think we're going to be heading towards a very violent time outdoors here before long.
Okay, so that's multiple different topics you just brought up. I'd like to kind of dive into each for just a couple of minutes if possible. Like, first of all, how serious is this thing? A lot of what I hear is that it could be really serious if we did nothing, but it's not serious because we took very preventative measures. Whereas some other folks I hear are like, no, it's not serious at all. So I'd like to actually hear from both of you how serious you actually think it is. Because I hear a lot of stuff like, oh, it's like the flu or whatever. It's like stuff like that. So.
For me, I'm not a doctor on that, so it's hard for me to know exactly. But what some people have said is that if they hadn't done the shutdown, or if they ended the shutdown, it would run its course and whatever and be done sooner. I think people aren't staying home anyway, not enough. So I don't know what good it's doing exactly. People are still congregating.
Yeah. Jose, got any thoughts?
I'm on the opinion that it is more serious than I think we are. I think there's also we're just so divisive in our news right now that it is hard to separate fact from fiction, and everybody's got an agenda. And then, of course, because, my parents watch Mexican news, so they watch, of course, the press conferences for the president in Mexico.
Okay.
They're also struggling right down there, too. So in Mexico, the numbers look smaller. More people right now believe that the numbers are higher, it seems like. But the president is assuring that the numbers are what they are because people are following social distancing accords. And to bring up the Sal's point, I agree with Sal I don't think people are actually staying home. So, I only go
Yeah.
from my house to the credit union branch where I'm working at, and then I'll take the bus partially and walk the rest of the way.
Okay.
But when I walk by some of the parks, I see people still hanging out, still going. There's more people outside, I would say, now it seems like, than there was before. It's almost like as if because the government has restricted, or quotations I say, restricted your liberty to go outside, it's like now people are deciding, you know what, I want to lose those 10 pounds now. You know what, I want to go outside and walk now more often. They've chosen this time to do their silent protest.
I'm going to use this as a self-improvement time kind of thing.
Yes, exactly. It's being selfish.
And it's that way with anything. If you try to ban guns, people buy more guns. If you put the energy into, you tell people what you don't want or whatever, and that's what's going to happen.
Prohibition in the 1920s. I don't mean to cut you off, Sal. Please finish. But
no, you're right.
Prohibition in the 1920s, like take away booze. What do people do? They make booze in their bathtubs.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And at the same time, for me, at least for me, the best thing that I can do, Sal's staying at home. So what I'm doing, I'm going home, and I'm staying home because I have my mom's at home, and she has, what do you call it? She had cancer beforehand, so I can't, be out in public like I'm supposed to, just normally. Like I got to make sure that I take care of myself by not hanging out with friends, by not going out on unnecessary trips to the grocery store. You don't need to go to the grocery store every day.
So I
One
guess
trip does the whole thing.
I guess my question to both of you is, what if we did nothing? What is your prediction of how serious this would be if we changed literally nothing? I withhold my own opinion. I'd like to hear from both of you, actually.
Sal, if you want to go first.
I'm not an expert in that area. I mean, it's just, maybe you guys can tell me what the difference is from this year to previous years of the coronavirus. I mean, I know it changes, a little bit from year to year and whatever, but, there's so much more testing now. It's very contagious and all this kind of thing. They throw out all this data like, well, some people think they had it in November and December. But if that's true, then why didn't everyone have it then? Why wasn't everybody catching it? So I don't know. I mean, I think that the media has certainly made a big deal, but then again, it's all around the world. And to the point of Jose, the data that we're being told by countries, and it's hard to know what's real and what's not. I don't believe China's data to be at all accurate.
No, me neither. By the way, yeah, that's a massive disgrace. That their underreporting has hurt, frankly, the rest of the world, really.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and then Kevin, if I may ask, assuming that China is underreporting, how do we explain, for example, I think we can explain, for example, like parts of Africa and parts of Latin America with poor data reporting because they're not as industrialized, they don't have the resources. Would you say maybe that's why their numbers are so low, or because they're not as urbanized as, say, the United States, most of Europe? Their cities, even Mexico City, while it's a very big city, its population density does not compare to the city of Manhattan, for example.
Yeah, I'd like to say either of those were the case, but I think that they were both. I think that they were very, very intentionally underreported because of more political propagandic concerns. I don't think either of those. I don't think either of those had anything to do with it. I think that it was an entirely political decision, and it's a stain on their record, if you ask me.
Sure.
I really.
Sure.
We're not allowed to say that. But no. Yeah, they can sometimes make bad decisions, and well, that's another point is how do you think the American government has responded? And Sal, if you get annoyed by this conversation and want to dip out, I understand. But
I want to hear all about the Mexican news reports that Mom listens to here. I want to hear about the. But no, I don't know. I got to say, I'm not a big Kate Brown person at all. But Oregon being about the fifth least likely state to catch this in is pretty impressive, given that Washington had the issue in the beginning
Yeah.
with so many people, and there are over 10,000 cases there, and I don't know, 1,500 or whatever it is in Oregon. It's pretty impressive. California has such a huge population, but they only get about 1,000 new cases a day on the high end, usually. So it's going to depend where it is, I'm sure, in the state, what counties, and who's catching the stuff. But like New York is so high, and of course they're very close proximity to each other, and then New Jersey got really high. The same thing, I would assume. I don't know county by county and where people are really catching it, but it makes sense that a state like Montana isn't very high, but a state like New York is. It's interesting, though, to me that every state has it. Every state gets new cases every day. Every country gets pretty similar numbers day to day. What I'm really questioning is this whole peak business, when things really will peak, or if they can predict that the Texas is going to have their peak day in 10 days, and then everything's going to be rosy. And meanwhile, the governor in Texas says, we're going to open up now and go back to work and everything, just 10 days before it's supposed to be the worst of it or whatever, which to me doesn't make any sense at all. But I just really question if that's really something you can predict. And if, is it really getting better if a state has 1,000 new cases today and they had 1,500 new cases yesterday? Is that really getting better, or is 1,000 more people getting it, meaning more people are going to get it because they got it? Is it going to keep spreading out? It's not really doubling. It's not like 2 people get it, then 4 people get it, then 8 people get it. But at the same time, if 1,000 people are getting it in your state, is it really getting better?
Yeah,
that much.
Just very, very, very briefly before I let Jose respond. I think that they think that it's going to go like this sort of very very pre-programmed bell curve kind of thing, because that's just how these things tend to go, and that's just every time they study it, it's kind of ends up being that way in any population. So I don't know, like you, I'm not an expert. I don't know for sure, but I think that's why they go that route. But Jose, if you had a response to that, go for it.
No, I think Sal's got the right idea. I mean, I'm not medical expert. These are all my opinions. I don't know. To me, there really isn't like a safe way to say. I mean, when I hear these things, I mean, like, what is it? We're already hearing about how Oregon, California, and Washington, they're all teaming up to decide when the state is possibly going to be open.
Yes.
I get the overall anxiety to get the states open and running again. And of course, they're using, we're going to level off here soon. We're going to use these factors to notice these things. I don't know. I really don't know. And I don't know. That's the unfortunate part, is we have to just assume in almost kind of a way that people that we elected are hopefully doing the right thing. And, at the end of the day, if they do open up the states, you don't have to go outside. I am not going to continue to do anything more than I'm doing now unless I know in some way I feel comfortable, that I feel safe or I feel good. But I don't know. That's not going to be for a while, it seems like.
What are your thoughts on I'm going to become the host for a second, Kevin, before I leave. What are trying to save this shit? What are your thoughts, Jose, on the shot, the what do we want to call this? Vaccine, the vaccination.
The vaccine.
Sure.
Like, just how fast I think it's going, or just how I feel about the vaccine in general?
I think he's getting at like the very existence of vaccinations. And if I mischaracterize that, tell me.
Well, let me put it this way to you. If you say that you're not going to change anything that you're doing until you feel, are you waiting for a vaccine to come out? Are you waiting until you get a vaccine? Are you waiting until other people have one? Is that a factor?
That is a bit of a factor. Once the vaccine is out and running, I'll feel a little bit more comfortable. I will gladly, get myself one. If I wasn't, so unhealthy and didn't look like a propane tank, I would have loved to have volunteered to be a part of the trials, try to, help the greater good. But I'm not exactly the most healthy person, so I wouldn't be a good test subject. And also I wasn't asked.
Yeah. In my case, my thing with vaccines is whatever you believe. If you think having it is what you need, good. I personally would decline it if in all likelihood. Did get the flu shot this year, and I'm glad I did. but normally I don't. My grandma lived to be 95. She got a flu shot every year. She believed in things like vaccinations. So, so if that's what you believe, then great. What I'm concerned about, and I do have a conspiracy theory mind, certainly in a lot of respects, but I'm not. I don't like the idea of forced vaccinations. I don't like the idea of, you're not going to be able to do these things again until you get it. And I see us going to that route on a lot of things.
Well, Sal, I actually have a question about that. Do you see, okay, if you don't get this vaccination, you can't go to public school. You can't be in certain public places.
I've heard that.
Do you see that as quote-unquote forced vaccination, in your opinion?
Yeah, I guess you could. I won't say it to the degree that it's forced, because I'm sure that possibly they could homeschool, or they could come up with some other way around it, maybe.
Okay.
It's not literally they're going to hold you in the chair and force you to take it.
Right.
Which I'm more being literal. That, if they come to me with a vaccination and say, here's the vaccination, I say, oh, that's really nice. See, I didn't bake you any cookies, and I'm going to say no thank you, so I'm not going to open my door. And they stand outside the door with the needle in their hand and keep knocking, then I've got a problem with that. So, whatever the case, I'm not for that. But here's the thing. If they get to a point where they say all essential employees have to have it, so if you work at a store, or if you work for the WWE in Florida, or you, whatever they deem essential for their state or for whatever, the truck drivers, in order to keep your profession, you have to get this vaccination.
You'd be against that.
I think it's borderline forced vaccination, because you're getting to a point that, again, it's not gun to your head. You can quit your job, but you're putting people in quite a position there. Now, on the other hand, if you tell Jose, you go get your vaccination, you go out to the store, and the checker doesn't have their vaccination, are you mad that the checker didn't get it? Or do you say, my vaccination's going to work because I got it, I'm good, so I don't need you to have the vaccination for mine to work? I guess that's the question about it.
But before I let you go, Sal, because I know you're trying to go, I'm not trying to keep you up. I just wanted to get your reaction.
You're trying to get rid of me.
No, I'm definitely not. I'm just trying to get your reaction to a couple of Harrison's comments. Our good friend Harrison MacArthur is in the chat.
Yes, he types a hell of a lot. He's a writer,
He is indeed, in fact, yes. He says, I haven't been out of the house in a week and a half at this point. I am going on 3 days. I don't know about anybody else.
There's 600-pound women that can't get out of their house either, but that's a whole other story. But Harrison's skinny. Harrison's a thin man.
We've got Harrison reacting to a comment of yours, Jose. He says that you are correct. He's seen more walkers, joggers, and dog walkers out and about than when this started than ever before. Which
Absolutely.
is my kind of experience as well. I have a dog, or not a dog, like a bike trail that I walk on for exercise, and it's very packed lately. This outbreak will pale in comparison to the great toilet paper wars that will be fought in the future. Legions will die in troves for the Bahrain. All right, Harrison, we see you, man. We see you, man. Okay, so here's the actual one. So has anyone seen the videos coming out of Italy of people hanging out on their balconies singing and working out together? Yeah, I saw those, and that's
I've seen something along those lines.
Yeah, really cool. Really, yeah, good for them. Good for them. That's an example of a government doing what it's supposed to do, in my opinion. Sal, do you have any comment on that?
No, I'm looking here at a lot of comments about vaccinations right now from my good friends in the chat, and so I was a little preoccupied. One thing that is not related necessarily, but this whole thing where these idiot governors or whoever tell people to all put up their frickin' Christmas lights and Christmas trees and shit for some reason, to have peace and joy during this time. I think they're pretty frickin' nuts. The only thing that I will say about it is that you might as well put up your fucking Christmas lights, because you're not going to have you might as well do it now, because you're probably not going to be leaving the house till Christmas. So in any event, get it going and bake some cookies while you're at it. But I find that to be a little silly. But no, I think all this stuff with these people with different getting together and doing people are congregating. They're still doing their stupid stuff. They're idiots.
Well, Sal,
if it is a thing.
Sal, it's been an absolute pleasure of an hour as always. Jose, if you want to stick around,
Yeah.
I'm going to try to add you on the Discord call. Are you Discord available right now?
I will try to be Discord available. Yeah.
Okay. I'm certainly not kicking Sal out. I think he's not Discord available right now, and I want to bring on Harrison for a bit, and also our other pals. You know. Oh,
Okay,
God,
it's amateur
Josh
hours
too.
coming up. I totally understand.
No.
Bring on the next guest here. The vaccination. Your ratings are going to go to shit. You got 6 viewers now. You're going to have 5 in a minute, and that's all right.
Probably 0.
It's been
I'm
a
even going to
pleasure
stop
talking-
watching this thing.
It's all 3 of your accounts. I'll tell you, over here, this Jose, it's been a pleasure talking to. I know most of the others in the chat I sure wouldn't be able to get along with, and so I appreciate it, and I hope that your vaccination goes well. You don't get autism or anything from it, and I hope that everything goes quite well for everyone listening, except 2 of the people that are listening.
I'm hanging up this call. I'm hanging up.
Bye now.
Thank you, Sal. Have a wonderful day and stay healthy, okay?
Okay.
Jose, I'll be back in 60, all right? On Discord.
Okay.
On Discord, I'm going to try you. All right. And for anybody who's actually watching, I'll be back here in 60. So I remember how to go to like a cut to commercial.
Generals gathered in their masses, just like witches at black masses. Evil minds applaud destruction, sorcerer of death's construction. In the fields of bodies burning, as the war machine keeps turning, death and hatred to mankind, poisoning the brainwashed minds. Oh Lord, yeah. day comes.
All right, friends, we're gonna make a call and gather our new panel, if you will. Just a second here. Gentlemen are coming in.
Hello?
Hello.
Seem to be frozen up on my end.
I better turn y'all up. Brother Harrison, welcome. How you doing?
I'm doing all right. I can't see you at the moment. You're still loading in. And I can't see who are the two other guys with you guys. Oh,
This is Brother Jose. Oh, I think they both cut out. Well, you know what? We'll try them again later. Unless they want to jump in, you know. Let me see. Okay, I think, yes, they are able to come in if they can't get in. But anyway, Brother Harrison, how you doing, man? What's good?
I am doing all right, historian. How are you?
Oh, life is grand. I haven't been to work in a month, and I'm getting fat.
Aren't we all, historian?
It's
We all.
a reality. But anyway, I'd like to talk to you about the the obvious news. So, how has this affected your life in particular?
How has this affected my life? Well, I haven't been outside. As I said in the comment, I haven't been outside the house for about a week and a half.
You mentioned.
Yeah. Although that's a bit of a lie. I actually did go by to the house twice, but that was to take some dinners to my grandparents' house.
Right on. Yeah. So, I mean, has this like disrupted your routine at all? Like, because it's certainly altered mine.
Well, I'm a lot more bored than I was beforehand. So, but also,
Harrison, I'm sorry. May I cut you off briefly?
All right.
I'll be back in just a second. I've got Jose jumping in. Jose, are you there?
What's that?
You're there.
Yes, I can hear you guys.
Yes. I think we've lost Harrison. Let me see if I can add him to the call. This is kind of wacky. Was just your video chat not working that well, or? Oh boy, it's getting wacky. I got Jose, but I don't have y'all. One moment. Oh man, the internet.
Gotta love it.
I guess so. Hopefully,
Well, there's more traffic of people being at home, so hopefully, theoretically, that means that's the only reason why our connection is interrupted.
That may be what it is actually. Did you call me directly?
I did.
Okay.
Or not.
Okay. Let me try to make a call just with you, me, and Harrison, and we'll see if we can't. Okay. All right. Give me 1 second. Boy, what a good stream. All right. Tell Josh what's happening. Moments. Connection. All right. You, sir, and Nacho. Boy, this Discord is kind of not super great for these video calls.
Hello.
Hello.
Still can't see you, historian.
I promise I have a webcam on. Jose, are you there? It's so dumb.
I can hear you both. You both hear me.
I can hear you, sir.
I can hear you just fine.
Wonderful.
I just can't see you.
So, yes, I'm using an external webcam, and I think Jose is on his phone.
Yes, I'm walking from work.
Nice.
Okay.
So yes, just finishing up Harrison's the effect of this on his life, if you will.
As I said before, I'm a lot more than I was beforehand, but I've been using this time just to basically make some more videos on my channel. Hour-long background noise videos.
Yeah, you're doing like the ambient, like ASMR stuff, right?
Not ASMR, not really that. Just more like just some stuff you can play in the background while you do whatever.
You know what I've gotten addicted to is 1980s baseball.
1980s baseball. I thought you were a wrestling fan.
That's also true. Also football and basketball to an extent. Like baseball was by far the sport I was best at when I was a kid. Don't get me wrong. Kind of fell out with it in the 90s, but I'm kind of getting back into it. Like especially like the 80s shows. It's Bo Jackson, Ken Griffey Jr. Come on, man.
Well, you are an American, therefore you are predisposed to love baseball.
God bless America.
Says the Mexican.
Oh, and the rest and the rest of the world. Hey, you know what?
And the rest of the world, thank you.
I love America, but everybody deserves to be blessed, not just America.
Well, my Mexican friend, how has this affected your life specifically?
I mean, you know this. I'm an extrovert. I love hanging out with people. I love seeing people.
Yes.
At the same
you love
time,
your bars.
though, I do love my bars. At the same time, though, it's given me a chance to really evaluate myself as, first of all, how I spend my money, how I buy just useless crap. And like you said, I go to bars a lot, so I spend a lot of money at bars. And it's brought me also closer with just my family right now and also with my faith. So
interesting.
And I value my time now. I've done projects that I've been putting on for months, some of them years, and I'm just like, oh my God, I got this done. What else can I do?
Yes.
You know, you got to look at it. You got to look at it with a little bit of a positive perspective. Yeah, it is kind of rough because I don't get to see my friends, but at the same time, we have technology. I can just Zoom call someone else. I can just Discord call you guys. It's not like it's impossible.
Totally. Yeah.
You know.
And
then of course I was gonna say one other thing. The one thing I've been addicted to more recently is I've been watching a lot more wrestling, and just really kind of really. But I'm also looking at the history. Like I'm really trying to I've always been a Jim Cornette guy, but when I start listening to him speak and then listen to Vince Russo and just more of the people who are behind the scenes doing the writing, I really get a grasp a little bit more of that history that I didn't understand before. With all that creative thought that went into it, and it's really really cool just to. Go into that. This
is a very boring conversational topic to Harrison, but it is one we will go into in depth because Jim Cornette.
Talk to the poor Canadian.
Well, not right now. Jim Cornette.
Not right now.
Jim Cornette is 1,000 times better than Vince Russo at everything. But
absolutely,
he really reacted to you. He really reacted to your faith comment. So I'd like to expound upon that a little bit, if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
Oh, I thought you were going to.
Okay. What do you mean? What do you mean about my? What is it like? Knowing what I've been doing, or just kind of more of what I'm trying? to do with my faith.
Well, just where you said with your expanded free time, you got you more in touch with your faith. So I was curious, like what you meant about that.
Everybody who's Catholic or Christian, I won't speak for all of us. I'll speak for myself. But the opinion I think for a lot of us is that we do a lot of preaching, but we don't do a lot of practicing of it. And I think for myself, what I'm doing is I'm actually reading more of the scriptures and trying to understand what it actually means to me, trying to apply them in my life.
Good show.
And I think go ahead.
Good show.
Yeah. And I just think we actually have more time to do praying. We always claim, oh, well, we're at work, or, oh, we're doing this. Or, oh, I'm hanging out with friends.
I've heard those.
There's only two things.
Before.
There's only a couple of things you should be doing right now. Yeah, either going to work, or if you're at home, you're at home. And if you're religious, that's what you should be. Theoretically, I'm not going to say that everybody needs to do that, but that's something that I've been doing that for myself. So try to focus more on that.
So Jose, quick question: are you Catholic or Protestant? Just out of curiosity.
Oh, I'm Catholic all the way.
I'm Protestant.
I believe in my in the Holy Catholic Church, Apostolic Church, baby, all about that.
All right.
But at the same time, with Protestantism, it comes down to me and you believe in the same thing to an extent. We just have different ways of getting there, and I don't hate on Protestants for anything. That's what they believe is what they believe. What I believe is what I believe. I mean, that we can both agree that in our doctrine, we're not supposed to judge someone else.
No,
we look at ourselves first. So, with that being said, you do you, I do me, and we'll all get along just fine.
Yeah, let's not start the holy wars of Europe.
What, do you guys want to have that right now?
No, thanks.
Are you sure?
You mean, are we gonna wait? Are we renaming Istanbul Constantinople?
Hell yeah, we are. That's it. Yeah.
Teus Holt infidels.
That sounds fun.
I have just started a flame war in the comments. Most likely, I am sorry for that.
Me and Harrison and our 50 dragons.
If you want to have it, listen. If you have a theological debate right now, go for it. I'll take off my headphones and go for a walk.
I can't. There's just so many. There's so many things that he's got different that I got different. I mean, we could go on for hours.
Wow.
For example, you pray to saints, I pray directly to Christ, and
wow. So you guys can't defend your positions, huh? Is that what you're saying?
Well, no.
We would just be here forever and a day afterwards.
Wait, I want to respond to that though. I want to respond to Harrison for 1 second though. He said he is right. I do pray. I mean, Harrison, I will say this. Yes, there are some saints that I do venerate and that I do believe that are.
Which ones?
Saint Michael the Archangel would be a super easy one.
Okay.
That's a really easy one.
Yeah, I like that dude.
Well, he's an angel, but he's technically Saint Michael the Archangel. So technically, yes, I see what you're saying. He's an archangel, but he's a saint at the same time. The point, at least in my mind, I don't believe that Christ gave us the right to just start praying to him. He's not our homie. We're supposed to get someone to speak for us for him. That's where I disagree with Protestants. I know they believe that you can just pray directly to Christ, but if he is truly the Almighty, I don't believe we can just, ask for an audience with God, knock on heaven's door and say, hey, God, you got a minute? It doesn't work that way. I'm pretty sure you're supposed to have someone speak for you to someone else.
Okay. Whereas
that's my opinion, though. That's my opinion.
No, carry on.
Next thing we know, we're talking about religion.
No. Be free.
And I am the complete opposite of that. Us Protestants believe that God is all loving, all encompassing, and He is more than and we can talk directly to Him because of the sacrifice of Jesus Christ, because of His crucifixion.
Sure. I just think though, in some ways, if with Jesus giving Himself up, He's almost kind of like your envoy. Before Jesus, you had John the Baptist. He was what would have been thought as what would have been one of the maybe first messiahs of this before Jesus. With that being said, you had to still always whether it's the Old Testament or the New Testament, you always had to refer to someone to speak for you, whether it was Muhammad, whether it was Abraham, someone else always had a direct contact with God. It was never like the common Joe in the corner could just reach up and say, hey, God, are you listening to me? It didn't work that way. That's why I don't believe we can just have an audience with him. And it's not to say that he's not all loving and anything like that. It's just I don't believe we've earned that right to do that. We have to go through some kind of an envoy message.
Harrison,
someone else speaks for you.
Harrison, your thoughts?
I'm going to have to completely disagree with that, but then again, I am Protestant, so...
Well, what does that mean? Pretend I have a second-grade understanding of all this stuff, and just explain it to me.
So Jose believes that you need an intermediary between us filthy, dirty mortals down here and with the Almighty above. Whereas I believe...
Jose, is that a fair characteration?
Yes, is that...
Sure. I mean, yeah, it is because... yeah.
Catholics believe that they need an intermediary... I can't talk today, sorry. Whereas Protestants believe just cut out the middleman. We talk directly to God. That's one of the... How many theses was it that was nailed to the door? That was one of That was one of Martin Luther's
95 Theses.
Thank you.
Yes.
One of his 95 Theses. That's one of the reasons. I'm really trying to come up with my words. I don't want to inadvertently insult you, man.
No,
it's okay. It's a healthy conversation here. I mean, I'm not gonna no, he said this. This is what he.
Is this stream internet blood sports technically?
Historian, you have just described the internet in a nutshell.
Yeah, I'm sure I'm getting shredded. I mean, I don't care. Whatever.
No, it's fine. No,
but
stand for what you believe in.
We may disagree.
No skin off my nose.
Yeah, we may disagree on this, but we can agree that we shall raise the Holy Crusade and go forth and reclaim Constantinople and Jerusalem.
Okay, so much context there. That's a very complicated event. It's a very complicated event.
Yes, I mean, yes. The Crusades and all of that. That's just another.
That's
a whole other.
Freaking.
I am steering the conversation back towards the current crisis.
Wait, I thought we were on theology. You went theology and then history, and now we're going back to okay, we can go back to that. That's fine. Yeah, that's fine.
I guess
I was intrigued.
Well, that's we can have this conversation, but I'm afraid that our YouTube overlords might hear us and go, "Well, all right, time to get the panhammer ready."
Yeah, don't get me banned. That's all I ask from anybody.
And also, I don't want to get hit on my channel too.
Yeah.
Right. Well, and that's why we always state everything as our opinion. It's my opinion. Kevin's got his own opinion. Harris has got his own opinion. We don't represent anybody but ourselves.
But sometimes, when it comes to history, you're not allowed your own facts. You are allowed your own opinion, but you're not allowed your own facts.
Sure. Certain people that. Ow! I just hit my knee on my desk.
Boys, what are we talking about? We're talking about the virus.
Yes.
Get back to work.
I wanted to comment actually on one thing that Sal had mentioned earlier, which is it's a little bit interesting, but it's kind of intriguing. It's the whole concept that it might be a conspiracy theory. I know I've seen some internet rumblings of how people believe that COVID-19 was started in a lab and it was done for a certain way so certain people could benefit. I mean, it sounds like straight out of a V for Vendetta comic book.
Yeah.
I wouldn't put it past the Chinese government to do that, to be honest.
I wouldn't put it past to have a conspiracy in general because we've seen it. I mean, I can't believe I'm accrediting this man for a moment, but what was it? Alex Jones was right about Epstein.
Dear.
He was right about Epstein. I mean, there are certain people have been right about certain things.
Broken clocks, blind squirrels. Stop.
Yes, I know. But that's what I'm saying. It all goes back to.
I don't get those ones.
Okay, Jose, if I may, broken clocks are right exactly twice a day. Blind squirrels occasionally find a nut. Therefore,
no, exactly. That's why I'm. Yeah.
Some dum-dum who spams conspiracy theories will be right once out of every 100 conspirty theories.
No, absolutely, and that's why I don't want to give the merit that this would be a conspiracy.
Except for those flat earther guys. I once had a 3-hour-long debate with a flat earther. Him trying to explain to me why the Earth was flat. He was trying to use the Bible to explain it, and I'm sitting there,
my God!
Oh yes, you have no idea. Look, it got so bad. I was banging my head against the table, and then my brother had to come in and tap me out. And my brother and I never agree on anything. So when he and I are on the same team, the guy's wrong.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and that's why I don't want to give credibility to the idea that COVID might be a conspiracy. I can't do that.
No, well, you know what? I'll tell you what. Let's just go ahead and break it down. Is there even laboratory nearby that could even have developed that to where it got out right there?
Well, what do we know about Wuhan? All I know is that it has a lot of wet markets. Sanitary conditions there are well below average, even for Chinese standards. And
all right, fine. Yeah, that may be true. But the specific contention we're dealing with is that it was a bioweapon that got loose. Okay, so is there a laboratory in that city where that could have actually come from? First of all,
that we know of,
I wouldn't be surprised, to be honest.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's my first contention. Okay. So that's what I would need to know first. But
they're not gonna put it on Google Maps if that's what you're asking.
Yeah, probably not.
Maybe. I know that in.
I mean, it's not like it's not like your country where everyone knows where Area 51 is. Just type in Google Maps and here it is. the picture may be a couple decades out of date for obvious reasons, but we know where it is. In fact,
So the potential exists. The potential does exist. Okay, then that gives it a little bit of credibility on that aspect. That's part of the litmus test.
But the potential for a lot of things exist, right? So why are we like just saying this is the case? There's a lot.
I'm not saying it. I'm not saying that this is definitely the case. I'm just saying if it were to be the case, I wouldn't be surprised.
Okay. Well,
and if our media wasn't so disruptive, Kevin, I would say, you know what? If you want to go chasing a story about a conspiracy theory, go right ahead. Let's do some journalism for a moment. What we see on TV is not journalism. I don't need to know now. I don't need to know now that there's a possible idea that there's a conspiracy theory about this happening. You know, at the end of the day, we got here. How about we try and use our time and resources to get out of this? Yeah, exactly. Now we're chasing, ghosts at that point.
Well,
and it has a lot to do with media.
I don't know. I don't know how important the origin is anyway. Like it doesn't tell us a lot about how to prescribe it or attack it. Like it doesn't really matter where it came from as far as containing it, right?
Does anyone remember the days where we were hearing that it was just Wuhan that got hit by this, and next thing we know, it's everywhere?
Yes, and we can talk about the American government's response to that if you want to, but
and also the Canadian one, since I'm the only Canuck here.
I've heard the Canadian government's been a lot better as far as response to it than the American one has. But if you have any thoughts about that,
I wouldn't be so sure about that. Look. After our great and glorious leader, Justin Trudeau, long may he rot. I'm not a big fan of his. After he said...
First of all, that's sure handsome to you.
No, he is not.
He is. I mean, he's a pretty good-looking man. I ain't gonna deny it.
Don't get me started on that. Look, after he said...
Can't deny that. He's a good-looking guy.
After he said, everyone, hunker down in your house, don't go outside. You know what he did? He took his whole family and went off to his bloody lake cottage off in the country.
Come
by example, you stink.
I don't know about you, but we're so used to that. Our overlords are clearly our overlords. They're essentially royalty without the title.
This would be the equivalent of Trump saying, "Look, everyone stay at home, lockdown," and then him flying off the Florida or Hawaii or whatever.
Well.
Yeah,
only because his advisors didn't let him. I feel like he would have been at Mar-a-Lago if he wanted to.
No, dude, he only does it every week. he does the equivalent of that every week.
And staying there. Speaking of flying off to the wild balloon yonder, a couple weeks ago I was taking a walk with my best friend. Shout out to you, Christopher. You ever watch these things? I doubt you'll ever see this one, but anyway, and
it'll probably get pulled down.
Yeah, he was telling me about these three idiots who flew a private plane. These three guys from Southern Ontario. They flew up all the way up into I think it was either Nunavut or Yukon, to a native village up there that barely gets any visitors up there, just to wait out the virus. And they got arrested really quickly because that's just a jerk move, because they didn't know whether or not they were carrying the virus. They could have easily wiped out that village.
I thought
that whole town.
Dude, I thought you lived in the Yukon.
I live in Southern Ontario. I live further south than some Americans do in your northern states.
I'm
in the little dangly bit. I'm in the bit between. I'm in the what I like to call the peninsula of Canada. So I'm surrounded by all the Great Lakes.
I thought you couldn't.
Effect, real fun.
I thought you couldn't go outside without dying. That's wild.
Nah. I'm not that far north. Look, if I were that far north, I would have a beard as magnificent as yours, but I do not. I can't. I physically cannot grow when it is.
By the way, I love that. Your friends oh, we're going on holiday. We're going to the Yukon. We're in my state, it's oh, we're going to the ocean. We're going to the coast. But your friends are hey, we're going to where a grizzly bear might eat us.
There are no grizzly bears in Ontario. Real far north Ontario, you get polar bears, but the only bears we have to worry about are black bears, and that's really far north. just south of Sudbury.
All right, boys. This has been a ton of fun. I got a couple more people I got to call in on this call. I got to shut this one down. Again,
yourself already, huh?
Yes.
All right.
Self-flagellating already.
You don't want us to tank your channel. I understand.
Yeah, I'm curious. I can't wait to read the chat to see if we were being ripped to shreds or not. That's gonna be wonderful.
Yes, most interesting. Shout out to you, Sal. If by any chance you ever see these things, I'm glad I got at least one big fan out there.
The only way you won't is because I have no viewers, so that would help.
Actually, if you could maybe bring, I don't know. Are you bringing Jordan on, by the way?
That's a good question.
The reason I ask is I saw there was a comment that I.
Do you want to talk to him?
Well, yeah, I did actually want to talk to him for a second.
Let me see if he wants to come on. Give me a second.
All right.
To talk to you if you want to.
I was gonna respond to something that he had posted on there, but I called you as that was happening, so I was like, "Oh, I didn't get a chance to talk to Jordan."
Okay, I texted him. We'll see if he wants to come on.
I am taking a look at the live stream right now just to see.
Yeah.
Saying. What do you mean, Jordan? What's wrong with ASMR?
I thought that was like an amazing kind of sandwich at one point.
Jordan says read your Discord. So I may have to kill this Discord call and we'll go on a break. And I think Jordan wants to come on.
All right, bring him on.
So, fellas, let me give me 1 second. Yeah, okay. I will hang this up and we'll go on a break. And I'll bring Jordan on in just 1 second.
All right.
Okay.
All right, boys. Man, what a life.
Ain't found a way to kill me yet. Eyes burn with stinging sweat. Seems every path leads me to nowhere. Wife and kids, household bed. Army green was no safe bet. The bullet screamed to me from somewhere. Yeah, they've come to snuff the rooster.
All right, what it do, PUI Nation? We are about to get this call back where we were at a moment ago, but we're gonna bring one dust off guy on, and I just did this as an audio call because it's not on screen anyway, so who cares? So we'll see.
Hello.
Welcome back, Brother Harrison. Thank you for joining us. It sounds like Dust Off just got into his cockpit.
Hello.
He's here.
Hello. Hello, Dust Off.
And we are looking for Jose, who specifically wanted to talk to you, Dust Off. He is not with us.
Oh, no.
I don't know why. Give me a second. I'm going to ask him where he's at. Where you at? Dust Off, how you doing, man?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
How has the whole pandemic thing affected you besides me being in the house all the time?
There is a lot of... I'm hearing this twice. Do I need to turn off your YouTube channel while I do this?
Probably. Yeah.
Okay.
Just, or mute it at least.
All right.
Leave it on. Give us the viewer. But
okay. Give me a second.
In that case, I shall also mute mine.
Okay, so yeah, I've been handling the pandemic, it sounds like, much as others have. I have a sports podcast, a daily sports podcast, so I've been able to do that.
Nope. We lost you. Where you at?
Oh, me?
There's everybody. I think Jose has joined us.
Hey,
I think I got it.
Gentlemen.
Hello.
Jose, welcome. Give us just 1 second. Dust Off, finish your thought.
Just that I have a sports podcast that's keeping me busy during the day. It's been a little struggle to adapt to Jacob, that's my 10-year-old son, adapt to his new homeschooling schedule. But other than that, doing the best I can.
Doing the best you can. Yeah, absolutely. Jose, you specifically wanted to address something that Jordan said in the chat. Feel free.
Yes. Thank you. Hey, Jordan, hope you are well. Hope you and your family are doing well. So what I was going to respond to you. You were mentioning, I think in the comments, you were saying how something along the lines of it's must be hard to stand up for what you believe in or something along those lines. I think it was like relation to just defending your points. What did you mean by that?
Let's see here. Because I kept typing stuff out and then deleting it because I didn't want to get over involved. So I know that when you and who am I talking to right now? Jose?
Yes.
Yeah. I know when you and Harrison were having your discussion about religion, I really respected the way you were talking about it. You were saying you were kind of just taking your own approach, defending your opinions, giving your perspective. And Harrison, I love you, my man, but it was like you just kind of wanted to talk about where Jose was coming from instead of firing back with your own kind of version of not version, but you know what I mean, your own perspective.
So do we want a real theological discussion?
I do.
I am not the person to be having that kind of discussion with.
Now, it also could have been regarding the cost of blue cheese and ranch dressing with hot wings, which I think needs to come free when I order that stuff from Uber Eats. But hey, you know,
I actually hate blue cheese dripping. To be honest.
What?
I know. I'm sorry. I just can't eat. I just can't stomach this stuff.
Do you have it up there?
Yeah, we have it up here. It just doesn't agree with me. Every time.
Do you have running water?
Stomach declares.
Jesus.
Do you have internet?
Do you have toilet paper?
What?
No, not anymore.
Yes, we have toilet paper.
Do you have internet?
Yes, we have internet. Yes, we have blue cheese. I just don't like blue cheese. All right.
Do you have ranch?
Oh,
yes,
are you talking about the God forbid anyone actually defend their opinions in the face of disagreement?
Yes, that one.
Yeah, I'm not gonna get into it with Sal while he's not in the chat, but he definitely said, you know, I'm gonna say my piece and then I'm gonna get off the chat. So that's in
fine.
Response to him saying his piece and then getting off the chat.
But I don't
want to. I'm not going to talk Sal while he's not here.
No,
Gotcha,
I respect that. People who don't want to argue about their positions, fine. It's fine. I am happy to argue about anything, anytime, anywhere, and it's fun for me. But if you don't like to, I completely respect that. I totally get it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
So it more had to do with people who are unwilling to pose an unpopular opinion and then defend it. So it's really hard to watch you talking, Kevin. I got to cover up the YouTube video while we do this.
I don't blame you.
So sorry,
I feel like that used to be
because I'm like looking at your mouth move and I want to stop talking. So sorry. So yeah, I just have a problem with people who want to, like, in a group discussion, throw out something controversial and then be unwilling to defend it. It's sort of like throwing a punch at someone and then running away, or something like that.
That used to be me in like middle school and high school, and then I just got over the fears of, if you have a point and you believe in it, you got to stand up for it.
Got to stand up for it.
100%. Do you guys want to talk about something controversial?
Yes.
Do you guys have any?
I really want to. Sorry, Kev. I want to really know if Jose and Harrison are actually believe that coronavirus created in a laboratory, or if it was just something they were kind of talking around as an interesting point.
No. Hang on, Dusty. Let me clarify what I was saying. I said if it did turn out that this particular strain of coronavirus did originate in a lab and did get out of the lab, I said I wouldn't be surprised.
Okay, right. I think I see that. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm on that same boat too, Jordan. I don't think that necessarily, but who's to say that it can't happen or didn't happen?
Well, yeah, but this particular thing had been talked about since January, and experts and scientists and people in the know were warning us and trying to do something about it. Some world leaders were more proactive. Italy's a great example of a place that wasn't proactive enough soon enough. And so it's really something we should have been having this discussion about, 2 months ago, not, March 12th when NCAA March Madness canceled, and suddenly oh, it's for real? They canceled sports? Oh no!
So Jordan, here's a question for you. Are you discounting the possibility that it was created in a lab? And
yes, I don't think it was.
If so, do you? What is your evidence?
My evidence is that the experts, the scientists who study this stuff, have come out and said that it did not originate from a laboratory. Okay. And a bunch of people sitting around on social media saying, I'm not an expert, but, it could have come from a laboratory. Yeah, I get it. I saw the stand and I saw Outbreak. And I think I kind of agree with Harrison that if we were to find out, not if we were to find out, but if we had found out already that this was next to a chem lab next to Wuhan, we'd all be like, well, that's why we outlawed chemical weapons and that sort of thing. None of us would have been surprised necessarily, but the evidence is out, the jury's out, or the jury's in, and it's not created in a lab.
It was created in a wet market. Which, by the way, has anyone seen footage of those wet markets? Are
you talking about the bat eating thing?
Yes, I've seen footage of those things. I need a bucket.
Hey, Jordan.
Yes.
I did want to, you said, okay, the jury's out. We've been given evidence by experts. Okay, well, I don't turn into a conspiracy theorist, but I'm turning into one. It's for all of a sudden. I don't know why. Are we not?
It's called devil's advocate, Jose.
Sure. Are we not just being fed the information that these are so-called experts and people who are appointed by the same people, who then are having these slow responses? I mean, I think I've just done too much conservative news articles and other stuff that I've been reading where people are saying, okay, well, this benefits these certain groups of people because of the vaccines being developed. Now you have Dr. Fauci, for example. There's the conspiracy that, well, he never had his time as a doctor spotlight. Now he's kind of using this time to milk this out. I'm not saying that
make his career,
because I don't believe any of this is true. I think it's just a load of crap, just filler news. Mm-hmm. But is it not right to just question the idea that just because we're fed something from an expert that we see on television, we can't just even decide maybe there's something else to that? I mean, it's not the first time in our history. We've read books, we have stuff that's based on these kinds of ideas, that there's something always lurking in the shadows.
Yeah, I think
paranoid.
No, I mean, I do want to avoid paranoia, but the thing is when you say we're being fed this, every one of us on this chat right now is a very smart individual, and not only do we have Google available, but we have a myriad other resources where we don't have to be fed anything. We can spit out the medicine and say, you know what, I'm going to look this up myself. I'm going to see what is Like I just Googled source of coronavirus, and the top hit 4 hours ago, Fox News. Source believe coronavirus originated Wuhan lab as part of China's efforts to ... And then, I scroll down and got Live Science, Science Daily, Nature.com, the CDC, .gov, and Medical News Today, health.harvard.edu. They all talk about how it originated in the natural world. And so, I can just do the research myself if I doubt what I'm quote unquote being fed.
It's just always we've had fantasy books and movies that have always talked about the ideas of chemical warfare and the ideas of spreading a disease to infect a world, and establish a new world order. I mean, as ridiculous as some of that sounds, it can't just come out of an imagination. There has to be some kind of truth to create that fiction.
I don't know about that. I mean, that's to say that people just couldn't imagine not believing in God. It has to have some truth. People just couldn't imagine believing in God. It has to have some truth. So the idea that just because something is out there, it has to have some grain of truth. I don't necessarily buy that as a way to circle around the, coronavirus back to, it has to have some grain of truth to it.
Right. And I think a part of it is with the government that we have here in the United States, if we didn't have such a divisive government and a divisive 24 news hour cycle, we probably wouldn't be pushing this narrative of that it was created in a lab. But because we're the United States and we want to have something to blame, and whether that's Donald Trump, whether that's President Obama, doesn't matter, past presidents, we've always looked to put a face to some kind of threat. But this current administration wants to make sure that is the objective, because then it sheds some of the blame off of them for their poor responses.
Yeah, and this kind of goes back to where the discussion ended in the previous chat, where it doesn't matter what caused it. And by saying that, I don't want to grant credence to the conspiracy theory. I'm not, and by dismissing it as, it doesn't matter what caused it, I'm not trying to lend it any credence. However, it doesn't matter what caused it. At this point, we need to deal with it. And what we need is real leadership that we can count on. And I think one of the major problems we face right now, and I'm only speaking as someone who lives in America, can't speak for Canada, can't speak for I think you said your mom lives in Mexico, watches Mexican news.
Oh, she lives with me here in the U.S.
Okay,
but they're
watches,
very loyal to the stuff down there. Yeah,
right. So I can't speak to what's happening in other countries, but I have no confidence that when I watch a White House press briefing, that I'm getting information that's going to be useful, helpful, or informative. And I don't think I'm alone in that.
Jordan,
agree with that.
Jordan, same question. What do you think if we did absolutely nothing? What is your prediction?
Oh, millions dead. Absolutely. Okay. We kind of. Okay, now I guess we're gonna get into it, but I really get frustrated with people who are dismissive of the numbers. Oh, this is the same number of people that die every year from the flu. Oh, this doesn't kill as many people as cigarettes or gun violence. Well, you know what? Gun violence and abortions aren't highly contagious, and they're not something that we can develop a vaccine for over the course of 18 or more months. So those are totally irrelevant numbers and arguments. What we really need to focus on right now is doing something, because if we do nothing at all, then this thing runs. And by nothing at all, I assume you mean had we not locked down and just gone about business as usual.
Correct.
Right?
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah. Had we gone about business as usual, all those sports stadiums, all those fans, all people flying from here to there, people driving down to and from Eugene for Ducks games, people flying to Mexico City for those NFL games that are going to be in Mexico City this year, flying to London, all that stuff. We're talking disastrous numbers of infections and deaths. And the whole point is to try and stem that by treating it more seriously than the flu.
Harrison, you haven't talked in quite a while, and if you're still here, I'd like to give you time.
Absolutely.
I'd like to give you time. You sound like you had a point.
Yeah, I would just say that Dusty's probably correct in that. dust off. Let's not have a repeat of the 1918 Spanish flu epidemic. It's hard to believe that like the century the last century is practically bookended by big plagues.
I mean, yeah, it's in a way it is, in a way it's not. It's like we were like overdue for it, right? Like, Dustoff and I actually just talked about this on his Dex podcast. We talked about how like baseball reacted to the 1918 flu epidemic, and they just like, correct me if I'm wrong, but they just essentially went on as normal, and there were a lot more deaths than there could have been.
Yes, but I do remember hearing about this one town in 1918 that just absolutely refused to let anyone in. They had like a strict quarantine, and if anyone left the town, they weren't allowed to come back in.
Yeah,
I've heard of other cases of quarantine from back then. Like this one island just flat out cut off contact from the outside world. I think until like 1921. I could be wrong though.
Yeah. It's probably the socially responsible thing to do. Fellas, do you want to yell at each other anymore before I move on and kill the call?
I do want to say that if anyone is into podcasting, you could go listen to The Daily and an episode of The Daily where their disease expert predicted all of this in a very in-depth discussion. I'm looking it up right now. February 13th, Fear, Fury, and Coronavirus. And they had their disease expert on saying, here's what's going to happen based on what we do. And it seems like we have such short memories, and this is going to apply to future discussions. We have such short memories in this country that you could go back as recently as February 13th and see someone saying, I'm a disease expert and here's what's going to happen. And lo and behold, a month later, they're canceling all the sports and we got the lockdown that we're experiencing now. That's all I got.
Mm-hmm. Also, I just want to ask, since this whole thing's come down and we had all those like toilet paper almost riots in the supermarkets, did anyone else see those articles where people were purposefully just acting like jackasses and like coughing on food and
people?
One of them got arrested, by the way. Here.
Oh, lots of them got arrested.
I saw a very prominent headline.
Good. And also, they're being charged with terrorism, I believe, spreading of biological agents. Like the one guy. Like, also, have you heard about the coronavirus challenge that's been going around by the?
Oh, stop it!
Oh, I'm not joking. Like,
I know what you're talking about. It's ridiculous.
Yes, I know. Future Darwin Award winners.
Yes, Dallas Cowboy fans, Dak Prescott and Zeke Elliott had a party with more than 10 people. There are pictures.
No. I mean, people like purposely licking doorknobs and toilet seats and.
Yeah, no, that's ridiculous.
Holy, yeah. Like
it was all over Instagram for like a while. It was ridiculous.
However, what I like to see are the people doing that in videos and then immediately getting decked by some person off screen, like.
Right? Like if someone walked up to me on the street and just started all coughing on me and stuff. Come on, man.
Yeah, you have our permission to break that man's nose and teeth.
Jose, you got any final thoughts?
I'm not advocating for violence. I am not advocating for violence. Just saying. Just want to put that out right there. But if a guy comes up to you and say like, "I have coronavirus," right in your face, I think he's lost his right to his nose.
The only thing I got to say, Kevin, is just all of us. Let's just do our part. If you the best thing. Don't go grocery shopping. You don't need to. Once a week is plenty. You don't need to be doing it every single day. Make a list. Be efficient. Find new hobbies. I mean, there's plenty of things to do at home. Yeah, I know. I'm getting cabin fever too. I'm not perfect, but I'm definitely finding more things to do than I did. Or you realize that you bought more, stuff that you need. Like I have more video games that I can count on, and I'm just like, oh, why did I buy all these? Okay, how about we start playing some of these? Things like that. You'll be surprised to see. You'll be surprised to see a lot of the stuff that you have to do at home that you've been putting off for a long time. This is the time to do it.
Not wrong.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, boys, it's been a lot of fun. I got to kill this call. I got 2 more guests I want to bring on before I kill the stream. So sadly, I got to move on. It's been a lot of fun. Thank you guys for coming on.
Yep,
Had a great
pleasure.
time.
Yep.
Always.
My
Thank you.
pleasure.
Great
Have a good day,
goddamn
gentlemen.
time.
Bye-bye.
You too. Bye bye.
All right, we're gonna kill the old Discord here. Boy, all right, we're gonna take a break and then we're gonna try Josh. We'll see if Josh wants to come on, and then after that, main event Frank. Maybe we'll even get Josh versus Frank. Who knows? But in the meantime, it's time for a break.
Lonely mother gazing out of the window, staring at a son that she just can't touch. If at any time he's in a jam, she'll be by his side, but he doesn't realize he hurts her so much. But all the praying just ain't helping at all, 'cause he can't seem to keep himself out of trouble. So he goes out and he makes his money the best way he knows how. Another body laying cold in the gutter. Listen to me. Don't go chasing waterfalls. Please stick to the rivers and the lakes that you're used to. I know that you're gonna have a joy or nothing at all, but I think you're moving too fast. Little precious is a natural obsession for sensation, but he just can't see. She gives him loving that his body can't handle, but all he can say is, baby, it's good to me. One day he goes and takes a glimpse in the mirror, but he doesn't recognize his own face. His health is fading, doesn't know why. He let us tuck into his fire, rest in place. You don't hear me now. Don't go chasing waterfalls. Please stick to the rivers and the lakes that you're used to. I know that you're gonna have a joy or nothing at all, but I think you're moving too fast. Come on. I seen the rainbow yesterday, but too many storms.
All right, everybody, welcome back. This is David Letterman, but drunk. Thank you for being here. We have two more guests we're going to try to get on. We're going to try each of them, one after another, and we're going to call them until one of them picks up. And if they don't, you know what? We're going to have fun anyway, because we don't need them. They try to big league us, you know. That's up to them. We got lots to talk about. We could talk about how Trump insisted on signing those checks. Oh my God. Oh. Sorry, looking up. Oh, you know what I was looking up. All right. I'm gonna try. God, why is this? God, why is this hard? There we go. Okay. All right, we got this, everybody. I believe in us. Do you believe in me? I believe in you. Whoever you are, if you see this tomorrow, or yesterday, or 1,000 days from now, or 1,000 years from now, I believe in you. And I hope you reach your fullest potential, and I hope you reach all your potential dreams. In the meantime, God's sake, It's not that hard. He'll pick up. Don't worry. He'll pick up. If he doesn't, it's going to make for a very bad main event of this stream. Josh!
Hello.
Josh!
What up, D?
Josh!
Can you hear me?
Josh, I can hear you just fine. Welcome to a show called Podcasting Under the Influence. How the fuck you doing? How you doing?
Good, man. What's going on, D? What's going on?
Not much, man. Yeah. It was a fun show. Yeah, we got a couple good hours. So I'd like to talk about I'd like to talk about how your president's a fucking retard.
Yeah. Well, why is that? That's a good point, by the way. But like, why is that?
Oh man, where do I start? You know, I don't know. Well, did you get your Trump bucks yet?
Yeah, I got my Trump bucks today, actually.
Nice.
Yeah,
me too.
Yeah, the news said it was going to happen, and it actually came true. It was kind of weird. I got my Trump bucks the day that they actually approved my unemployment. So nice. Trump actually moved faster than the unemployment. From the
man, what a good leader, man. He's such a good leader of the country.
Man, he's making news, that's for sure. We got this not really needed, but well deserved, you know.
No, well, it was kind of needed. Like you can't tell people they can't go to work. No. Come on. Like we've talked. Like you can't tell people they can't go to work, and then like, oh, we're not going to give you like anything. You can't go to work, but okay, good luck. You can't do that.
Well, I mean, ain't that the whole point of like you get hurt, you have to buy insurance, right? So if you don't buy insurance, you're kind of fucked, which means like a lot of the poor people are going to be fucked. You know, like, I mean, I'm not saying that like for me it didn't really affect me because I wasn't ready for this, but like I was planned for it, you know, where a lot of people don't, you know, and they need that day-to-day check, you know, and like I understand that a lot of people that are in the same profession as me and in the same position, you know, like, but you know, they have a lot more going for them where they need more money at a time where like I have, you know, I've learned to keep cash on hand. So cash on hand is very important because cash is better than credit because sometimes credit will just fail. You know, what if this shit happens, you know?
Okay. So you learned to keep cash on hand. Okay. So most people are not trained to do that. Most people are trained to, everything's going to be okay. Oh, you don't need to buy a mask. And then, 3 months later,
right.
Oh, we're going to sell you a mask for $50. Okay.
Yeah, so, but if they sat there and they said, okay, look, if you really need it, we've got this here for you. How many fucking people are going to go in there and grab it? Every single person that can get it is going to get it, you know? So like they got to do what's fair and give it to everyone that only makes so much money, you know, like that's just what they have to do, I guess, you know? So like we're some people that are even in a better position than me, then they got it, you know? And then they get $500 a kid on top, you know? It's just like free money. But, you know, like, I can't remember who said it earlier to a point that they said was that, you know, that like you don't, I think it might have been Harrison, that you don't pay anything into the government ain't going to give you nothing that you're not going to have to pay back in taxes at some point. I believe. Yeah. I don't remember exactly who said that, but there was somebody that said that, you know. I mean, I honestly believe that they take money from you regardless, you know, where everybody says we're in like a sales tax free state, but you pay a higher state tax.
Okay. Here is Jordan Long. I'd like to call this out. The Sunday before the NBA shutdown, Trump called it a Democrat hoax and said that it wasn't as bad as the flu. Shame. Totally failed leadership. Any thoughts?
No, I mean, I think that he just goes like obviously he starts saying shit, and then I think he just speaks off the hip, and you know,
talking about
there's
Trump.
A lot of we're talking about Trump. Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I feel that like when he speaks without knowing all the facts. So he doesn't get all experts from all sides and then come to a decision. He just already has that instinct in his mind because he feels like he was just shooting out of his gut his whole life, and that's why he's made his money making his, riches, which for anyone else's arguments is that he went bankrupt and he can make money getting bankrupt and costing people money. So that's a whole nother argument. But, so like when he speaks, like I was the same way, dude. Like how hard is it to wash your hands? I work in the restaurant industry. I wash my hands constantly. I always wash my hands. It's hands to face always. You always cough into your shirt. It's just, I don't know. Like, I mean, I feel like our lifetime we're like social norms have changed so much. So it's really weird, and it's only going to get weirder.
Yeah. I mean, definitely right now.
They're talking about banning handshakes. Like no one's going to even be able to do a business deal with a handshake anymore, So like we already decided that you do business on a handshake because the word isn't shit no more. So you have to get a lawyer to to write up a contract now because no one's a man of their word anymore. So now you don't even have a handshake to go by. So like, what do you fucking seal a deal on this? Everyone has to walk around with a lawyer all the time. Like, I don't know where we go from here.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. Like we can move on very easily from the like social norm of having a handshake. Like we'll find something else. It won't be that hard. Frankly, I would be very surprised. I would be very, very surprised if that actually ends up being the case. Like I think that's probably an exaggeration, and in like 3 years, it's probably going to be right back to where it was. And granted,
well, everyone's speaking in hypotheticals mostly right now. Like it's about what's going to happen, what is, and like that's a lot of the reporting now. Anyway, is just what is, what not, who can be blamed for what.
No, we're in uncharted territory. Like in a way, we're in uncharted territory because like we're dealing with a pandemic, but like we actually have the tools to record the pandemic, which we did not have in ancient times and in like the times of the Black Plague and like the 1918 stuff like that. So it's right. both charted and uncharted.
Plus we have the science. I don't know. Well, like everyone was saying earlier, you can't believe anybody. Like everyone's got their hidden agenda. Like no matter what, like everyone's pointing the finger because we're trying to figure out who's going to pay for this shit. In the long run.
Totally.
So,
what did you think?
Yeah, I mean,
what did you think about your boy insisting that his signature was on all those checks?
I don't know. I didn't see no check. I didn't see a signature.
What, you didn't get a check?
I got it got direct deposited.
Okay. I was gonna say. Thought you had a.
It said IRX tax ID number, blah 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 blah, whatever the fuck.
Yeah, okay.
Like that wasn't it.
So you got your Trump bucks.
Yeah, it was just direct deposit. They said it was going to go to people that had direct deposit anyway, and I've always used direct deposit. So
yeah.
And I've had the same bank for years, so it's just it's pretty simple. Like I said, like the longest thing was like waiting on unemployment to clear. It took 3 weeks. It took me 2 weeks just to get a letter that said they received my application.
Yeah.
And then it took another week after that letter just to approve of.
I was blown away. They did not waive the waiting week. I was very, very surprised.
What do you mean? You thought they were going to just pay you for the waiting week?
Yeah. Well, California and Washington did. So why wouldn't Oregon?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know like where this is coming from. Like where like the states are asking for money in this bailout and stuff like that. I don't know if that money is all going to come from the states, and the states are trying to dig for the unemployment section of it, and then the federal government stepped in and said we'll give you the other 600 kicker or something or whatever the hell that was.
Yeah.
I don't get that part. Just a one-time 600 payment, then you go back to like your normal shit, or I don't get where that's coming from. I thought it was just going to be the extra 600 a month. Then it was going to be like 150 a week or something like that. That was my interpretation of it, but I don't know.
Here's a question: Are you going to be making more than you did like back when you were like working?
Oh no, God no! I'm taking a cut for sure.
Are you okay?
Yeah.
Because I don't know. We'll see how next week goes, but so far I'm not taking a cut. I'm sitting pretty.
Like, I don't know if it hurt because, like, I left one job and then I went to work 2 jobs part-time, you know?
Yeah.
So I don't know if it hurt me because, like, I had that little bit of layover because they just take the average over your last 18 months, you know, and then they recalculate.
Yeah.
So I had that little bit of lull of, like, less hours at one job, and then I went to another job, and then, you know, and that was only for maybe 3, 4, 5 months. I guess.
Totally, yeah. Do you wish you lived in like East Asia or like Europe, where like there was certain different attitudes towards this, where like, oh, the second this happened, oh, we're locking everything down, but we're gonna give like every citizen like $3,000 a month or whatever. Like, yeah, that was a very, very different attitude than our government had, wasn't it?
Isn't there like still a town here in the United States somewhere that it's like a small little town, and they like shut the gates off to each side of like the town or something, and like they have all the deliveries for the town dropped off, and then they have townspeople like actually drop all the goods inside after they sanitize.
Okay. Yeah.
Kind of like how they were just trying to bleach everything at the borders for a while, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Might be the case.
Yeah. Yeah, so like I think there was a town that's still coronavirus free, and they still don't have any cases of it or something like that. But like that's what I was reading like last week. That could be all different by now, you know. Like it's hitting tribal towns that have like no like indigenous tribes and stuff. Like that 15-year-old kid, indigenous kid or whatever, from that one tribe.
Yeah,
you know, like it's starting to hit everywhere. So, like they're saying, oh, it can travel. You know, like you look at this shit, like the diagrams and stuff, and it shows like you walking down a supermarket aisle. So now they're doing like one-way aisles in certain places where like you can only go up one way, and then it's like, but then they show the diagram and it's like somebody coughs in one aisle and they show it like spreading across 2 more aisles, and then it's like, so now you got to like throw grass in the air like when you walk in to see which way the wind blows, so that you walk only on the side where everyone's downwind from you or something, you know, like.
Have you accidentally coughed in the supermarket? Is my question.
I have coughed before, yes. You know, like I actually was, I had a bad one. It wasn't in the supermarket, but it was like walking to the supermarket because that's the only place I go anymore. You know, like it's like I was walking down the street and then like just I had like a spit bubble just like hit my throat, and I just started hacking a lung up. It just started like you're choking, you know, and I got the weirdest looks from people. You know, it's just I don't know, like it's almost like I smoke, so it like I don't flick my cigarette butts down, and it's because I don't want to throw them on the ground, but at the same time I think it's more because I don't want to be publicly shamed for doing it.
Yeah.
So like that could be part of it too. So like when I cough now, I feel almost like it's just like smoking a cigarette. Like they're like, oh, you're doing hand to mouth by your smoking. That's not really healthy. And I'm like, well, it's statistically proven that smokers are less likely to get it. You know, we're more likely to die. We're more likely to die from it if we do get it, but we're less likely to contract it. You know, like females are less likely to get it than males in Italy or something like that. Like using like different stats from different places. But
sure,
I mean, I'm sure you can use stats from wherever to make whatever point you want to make. But
I just saw that corpses can get it. Like Italian corpses are passing it on.
Dude, that's why they're talking about like doing like incinerations, and like they just like that one place in New York, they just had bodies piled on each other inside of a morgue or whatever. There was like 20 bodies inside the one. They had that picture of all of them.
Yeah.
Dude, I mean, we don't have facilities for it, so I don't know what do you do. Just taking a bunch of Cisco trucks and ain't driving anything around anymore, and just like store bodies in their cooler trucks. Like I don't know what you do now. Like if there's that many people dying.
I just know. I mean, like New York got fucked up. Like New York took it hard. They took it really hard, like way harder than anybody else, right? like they took there were like refrigerated trucks outside the hospitals, like carrying bodies hard. Like that was, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was just kind of saying. Like, is that what they do though? Like,
yeah.
Well, I mean, how do you treat a body? Well, I mean, the whole point is like treating the family wants the body to be treated with some dignity, respect. So like now you just like, fuck, what are we doing with those? And then like we don't have places to put them. We can't really do nothing. So like you got to kind of throw them around, right? Like I guess it's sad, but like true, you know, like what do I do with this one? They're like, I guess you just put them on top of the Joe over there.
Did you see the mass graves on the prison island or whatever it was?
Yeah, they were paying inmates like $6 an hour, which is like unheard of. I was thinking like $6 a day, dude. They would have been all over that shit, dude. Double trays and $6 a day. They'd have been all up on that crap, but they were like $6 an hour.
Kind of uncomfortable. Hey man, I got to kill this call, and if you're still around, I'm going to try to call you back in a minute. And we'll have a chat with our pal Frank if he's around.
Word.
So yeah, I'll be back in a second.
All right.
flow is so ice cold. Walking to the Gucci store, honey, I'm home. And I'm on my stuff, I need a pamper on. Toilet paper on the side, for example, homie. I get money while you're wishing on that falling star. I'm in my foreign car, smoking out with the doors ajar, with the doors ajar, smoking out with the doors ajar. If I don't do nothing, I'm a ball. I'm counting all day like the clock on the wall. Go and get your money, little duffel bag boy. Go and get your money, little duffel bag boy. If I don't do nothing, I'm a ball. Counting all day like the clock on the wall. Go and get your money, little duffel bag boy. Go and get your money, little duffel bag boy.
Boy, oh boy. What a show. All right. We have one more guest we're going to try to bring on. We're going to do our best. We'll see if he answers. It's kind of a, we'll see what happens. Sometimes he's there, sometimes he's not, but when he's there, boy, he is there, and he's a house of fire. But if not, we'll just, and I don't mean to say just. We'll talk to Josh more, but it'd be very funny if this guest could get on and talk to Josh. It would be very entertaining. So we're going to go new call. Oh, goodness gracious. Call. There we go. Oh boy. Oh boy. I'm going to try. And get them both on together. That would be a lot of fun. Well, hello. I sure hope we can get him on. I hope he's there.
Hello?
Frank!
Hello?
Frank, are you there? Hello, Frank.
Yeah, hello?
Frank!
Yeah.
You're there!
Yes. Yes.
Frank!
You hear me?
Yes, I can hear you just fine. Frank, I'm on Skype. Do you mind if... can you give me 10 seconds to add somebody else to this call?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. His name is Josh. You'll like him.
Okay. Okay.
Just 1 second.
All right.
I'm so Frank. I should tell you, I am live streaming. Are you comfortable with that?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Cool. Sorry. I'll. There we go. There he is. 3, 7,
Okay.
6, 3.
Can I see it? Where are you, on Facebook?
It's on Skype. I'm calling you via Skype to phone. Boy. Technology, am I right? Josh!
What's up?
Welcome. Josh, meet my buddy Frank. Frank is from New York. His accent is very difficult, but I believe you can get through it.
I think I'll be able to understand it.
Frank, are you there?
In the old epicenter, how's it going over there? In the disaster zone.
Frank, are you here?
Did you lose Frank?
Frank, where you at? All right, we may have lost Frank. Josh, I'm sorry. Give me just 1 second.
It's all good. What
I
else
apologize.
you gotta do? I got nothing but time.
Technology.
My neighbor told me the other day, she said, it's a long story. And I was like, what else do I got to do? And I stood there for a minute. And she looked at me awkwardly. And I was just like, oh, I guess she's not going to say the story. But I left. Okay, I'll wait.
Right. Well, there is Frank. We're going to add him to the call.
You ready to come on? All right.
Frank!
Okay.
Josh!
Josh?
God dang it. Okay. Frank, I apologize. Do you mind if I hang up very briefly?
All right, sure.
All right.
I can change phones that way.
I apologize for that, man. Sorry. Oh God, we're still live. Okay. Sure, why not? Oh, it's not a PUI if you don't have very, very stupid technical difficulties. All right, and so we will add you to the call, and we will add you to the call, and now we will actually call. I'm super bad at this.
Hello?
What's up, gentlemen?
Hello.
Frank, I'm here.
You have reached the voicemail box of 51376
Frank, I'm sorry.
9137.
Was it
At
somebody
the
not
tone,
home?
please record your...
Oh. Should not be this hard. Should not be this hard. In my opinion, this should actually not be this hard. Oh, it's a live call? Oh, okay. Actually, what if we just shut her down? We're gonna talk to Josh and see if we can get him on there. Online with Frank. still alive. You didn't answer my Skype call. And if he doesn't answer, we'll just talk to Frank for the main event. That's would make me sad, but you know, we'll move on. I have to be a responsible streamer. We'll see who answers. Calls. New call. Add that one and that one. Okay, we're gonna call them both. We'll see who answers. Hello.
Okay, we're okay now?
Well, it seems... Josh, you're there.
I am here.
Oh, God, fantastic.
Oh, okay.
Oh, thank God.
Okay, good.
Okay, so...
You have two very different voices, so I can tell you apart.
So...
Well, the New Yorker.
Yes, Josh, have fun trying to understand Frank. He's a very lovely guy who is very dumb in his worldview. And Frank, Josh is a guy from the Midwest who is very dumb in his worldview. So...
Oh, yeah?
Yes.
Wow.
I see. I mean, by dumb, you mean dumb meaning different than yours.
Well, I've never pretended to be anything but an idiot, so...
Well, look, you know, one thing we have to clear up here is that we can work with the same facts and come up with a different perspective.
I could not agree more. And
all right, I think that's very important because what I have noticed in my 50 years of debating with lefties is that very often they have an attitude like, if you knew what I knew, you would believe what I believe.
And to be clear, Josh agrees with you.
Right. I agree 100%. I mean, that's almost like a preacher on the sidewalk. You know, you don't have to preach on the sidewalk. People can come to you if they really need the guidance that you're there to provide, you know?
Yeah.
So you can believe whatever you want to believe, but if that doesn't work for the mass people, then you should recognize, because you should know, because you have your own awareness that the people around you don't appreciate what you believe, so you should just stay away from them, you know? Like, then you should recognize that that's not, like, a normal way to behave. Like, obviously something is wrong with something. Either they're wrong or you're wrong, so something's got to happen, you know? Like,
do you guys want to pick a topic where like I can you know, fight you on?
First, let me just say to Jordan, yes, I am. I guess I do make more now, because if it's 600 more a week on top of what our unemployment is, then yes, I do make more. So
but that's fun, because Frank was just posting about that, as a matter of fact. Because yeah, so Frank, do you want to talk about the welfare state? Like, what do you want to talk about?
Well, one thing we could talk about that I think is a reflective of how the country divides is the issue of whether we should open up the economy with a certain amount of risk or wait till we're much, much safer before we finally get back back towards normalcy. And I believe, I may be wrong about this, but I believe that most people that are comfortable with conservatism are also comfortable with a certain amount of risk, and their level of comfort is different from the left.
Okay,
the left wants to, you know.
I didn't mean to cut you off, Frank. Go ahead.
So the point being that I'd like to hear maybe the three of us talk about, like, should we open up the economy now, next week, next month, not until every single person is no longer sick. You know what I mean? I guess how far we want to go with this.
Josh, if you want to feel that first, go ahead. Please do.
Dude, I'm ready to open it up whenever, you know, like, obviously, like, if they say that it's going to kill people to walk outside, and you don't know if you're going to get it, you don't know what, it's basically like a viral terrorism, you know, like, we're already scared to death, we're already sitting at home, not doing anything, not going anywhere, acting like we're sick already, so, like, we might as well already have it and die, because if we're just going to hole up until it's over, you know, like, I mean, and there's nothing to do to prevent it. So, like, they're trying to figure it out. So, like, I'll like defer to science and, you know, let them see what's up. But like, you know, like as far as believing what kind of information they put out, you know, like there's always ulterior motives. Like there's always like different little things going on that everybody knows, like somebody's profiting from it. So like they're going to allow that to happen for a little bit longer. They'll sacrifice more lives or whatever. You know, I believe like all this shit could happen, but I'm ready to open up now. I'm not going to be afraid of something that you'll never know if it's going to happen. And even if you do have it, you can wait 2 weeks and then you'll really show symptoms of it. So
okay.
So let me ask you. So let me ask you a question about that opening up. Would you favor the idea of we pick a day, like say May the 1st, and on May the 1st everything just goes back to normal, or do you want to have like phase 1, phase 2, phase 3 kind of stuff?
I mean, it might be a phase, I guess. I mean, I don't know how to do it. Like, I honestly don't know how you would start it up. Like, whether you would just like.
Well, yes, that's the way I feel. That's the way I feel.
Like, you know, I don't know if you just like everybody just finally like opens up the doors, dusts all the dust off the stoves and like stuff, and you just get back in the kitchen and start cooking food, and you order more produce, and it starts coming in. Like, I don't know how that works. If there's going to be a sanitization process or. You know, I have no clue.
My priority would be to get a haircut before I go to a Chinese restaurant, and that would do it for me. Then I would consider my life normal again. Other people obviously have different priorities from me, and so I think it would be very difficult to make a phased system. You know, like first we're going to do schools, and then we'll do churches, and then we'll do big buildings. How do you pick and choose?
Well, there's a lot you said there, Frank, but I'd like to throw in just one comment from Jose. He said opening it in phases is clearly the more safer approach, which personally I agree with. You know, I'm putting on my moderator hat right now, but I think that's correct, personally.
Well, see, phase system sounds safer because we're talking about more and more people rather than everybody at once. And that seems to be intuitively the safer way, the better way.
Frank,
right?
Frank, you know what, Frank, let me ask you point blank. Do you think that churches should have made their own decisions, like, regardless? If you want to have a full church right now, go for it. Go ahead.
Well, I don't know about that. If you pack a bunch of people into a church, which in general has very little ventilation, and the church is full, a lot of people are going to get sick. I mean, you know, that's just an actual fact.
Okay.
Now,
okay. No, Frank,
just let me say one more thing.
No, dude. I'm sorry. It sounds like you're deflecting from like the coronavirus, right? Like you're just saying like under normal circumstances, if you pack a bunch of people together, they're going to get sick, right? Like,
so what I mean is, of course, they're going to be spreading the virus around the congregation. That's exactly what happened in the cell.
Okay, so you are agreeing this is extraordinary circumstances.
Yes, but the thing is, that's a situation where we're talking about trying to do church the way you always do church, where you fill up all the pews and you shut the doors. And there aren't too many fans, there aren't too many windows, There's no air conditioning, and in an hour or two, everybody's breathing everybody else's breath.
Okay.
But what about the idea of cars in the parking lot, which they try to outlaw in Kentucky?
I'm sorry, I forgot whose turn it was. Josh, go ahead.
What happened? I was listening to Frank talking about the cars in Kentucky. What, at the church, you mean, for like the Easter Mass?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know. I mean, for religion and stuff, I mean, it's freedom of religion, right? So, like, to take away from people gathering to worship and stuff, if that's their choice, then, like, I'm all for people doing what they believe in, you know? Like, you can't just take stuff away from them if that's what they want to do. But at the same time, you got to understand, like, it's the same. Like, you got to trust people that you know around you, like, to not go around other people. So, like, they say it's just like one of those things. Like, you go out and you could be infected by anyone around you that's infected within like a 24-foot radius or some shit, you know? So, like, I mean, you're just putting faith in people to go out. So you put your own life in your hands when you go outside, I guess. But, like, we do that every day. Like, what if a car, like, goes astray and just runs you over? It's the same thing, I guess. Like, I have one person that knows one person affected by it. But, like,
no, that's very true. But I think we're getting very close to the issue that divides us, and that is, do you anticipate that if we were going to have it, like for example, if I'm the head of the parish, what they call the Monsignor in a Catholic parish, I'm the Monsignor, and I want to have Mass next Sunday, do you expect that I would be smart enough to say, let's make sure we do this in such a way that we don't automatically infect everybody, like make everybody sit far apart, make everybody sit in their cars, maybe have the Mass outside? You know what I mean? Do you anticipate that most people would have the common sense to do that? Or do you think that we have to have this system where we all sit in our homes because we're all a bunch of idiots that don't know how to go outside without sneezing on my neighbor? You see what I mean? And this is the part that always bothers me about the government footprint, is that the government footprint is always a cookie cutter. They have to treat everybody the same, but nobody is the same as anybody else.
Josh, please answer. Go ahead.
All I'm saying is it's like to go outside and it's traveling. It's the travel thing. So for sports teams to travel to different towns, so they're bringing in different people. So like you're coming from one spot to another, which could like increase the potential of like, so shut down the borders. If you're shutting down borders, shut down state borders. The truck will drop off something at one stop in the state, and then the state's responsible to get it through their state to the next spot or something like that. So it's going to increase whatever. You could do something like that. Because like towns don't really travel to other towns. I'm not going to be in contact with you ever, Frank. Because you're in New York right now, so like obviously I can't get there. So like we're not going to have the actual contact where oh man, I might have the potential because I was around somebody that might be infected. I guess Sal earlier was saying something about we're like the fifth likeliest to get it, the fifth least likeliest to get it state or something.
Good for us, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, were we ahead of it? I feel like we were behind it. I was as far as progressive of a state as we were. We were
everybody in
the last
goddamn country was behind it. Are you kidding me? We were all behind it. We were more behind than we should have been.
Well, yeah. I mean, we all put it off because we all just downplayed it, as whatever. And
well, see, the only thing I'm saying is that I'm looking at this in terms of how do you plan how to quote open up the economy, and how much faith do you have in the common sense of the average person, and how much direction and guidance and control do you need? In other words, where's the balance? Where's the balance? If you're going to set up phases, that means that whoever goes first is the only group.
Frank.
And then second, now there's another group that's not there. You know what I mean? And these other people are waiting online to get back into the economy. Now, who should we make wait, and who should go first?
Frank.
Those are very tough decisions.
Frank.
Well, the first thing they're going for is they're going to bail out the airlines and then the major companies. It's going to be the small mom and pop shops. With just less than 15, 20 employees that are just going to be the worst hit by this. They're going to be the hardest hit.
Okay, you know what? Both of you. Listen. I'm going to meet both of you. Both of you, tell me when the common man's experience resulted in a good outcome. Okay, tell me.
Well,
one of you tell me when. Oh, the common knowledge resulted in a good outcome.
You're the historian. Every empire fails, right?
Okay, yeah, that's true.
Okay, let me tell you what Thomas Sowell said. Okay. Thomas Sowell said that some people.
No.
Well, here's why. Because it expresses my answer to your question. He said that certain people that are in a position of being pundits or political figures or whatever think they're smarter than everybody. They can be smarter than a lot of people, but they can't be smarter than everybody. And I'm not talking about individuals having common sense. I'm talking about the consensus of opinion should be sufficient to guide us. What everybody does is
Frank,
in their own interest.
Not true. You know that's not true.
It's not true?
No, it's not true. We quote unquote want our rulers to be like us, but we actually want them to be better than us. In reality, we want them to be better than us. You know that. You don't
Well,
want
no,
dude,
I don't
you
believe
don't
that.
want no,
I
you
don't
don't
believe
want
that.
George Washington to be like you. You don't want Thomas Jefferson to be like you. You don't want Thomas Jefferson to be like you. You don't want Abraham Lincoln to be like you.
No. There are certain situations where we may need the exceptional person to lead us. But there are other situations where, like, for example, when I send a congressman to Washington, I don't want that congressman to think that, well, now I'm in Washington, I could do whatever me and my fellow congressmen want to do, instead of the congressman thinking, I got to do what the people in my district want me to do. And you're not supposed to say, I'm smarter than everybody in my district. So, maybe they don't want this, but I'm going to do it anyway. And this happens all the time.
Josh,
and then you have to wait. Then you have to wait 2 years to vote them out.
Josh, your thoughts?
Yeah, I think any major decision should go to the vote. Like anything that the people like disagree on, or if there's a debate in there, like then it should go to straight what it's supposed to be. You vote and then you just like stand up for what they're saying, and then listen to what your governor, your mayor, your fucking town, whatever they call them, but council or whatever, city councils, like if you listen to everything from there, and then you figure out what each town needs and where their problems really are, it's easier to start where you're living. If you live in that community, you're part of like just the council, then you got to say, this is what we need. And then they have to really listen and push for that. Like, but there's too much just bargaining just for people to get contracts and shit like that goes on. So like, that's what gets people elected. That's, like donations.
Well, do you know what happens? Do you know what happens
How
where
are
I
you
live?
Trump supporters?
No, you know what happens?
God.
But you know what happens where I live? On a local level, the city council negotiates with various vendors for whatever reason. Like we're going to build a bridge or make a traffic circle or whatever they're going to do. They negotiate with them. They make the deal, and then they have hearings. And when the people get up and talk about this project, whatever the project might be, unless they're bearing torches and pitchforks and axe handles, they could just go ahead and do it anyway. They don't care what you have to say.
Yeah,
so they're not waiting your input to say, oh, gee, they don't like the bridge? All right, no bridge. They don't do that. And that's what's wrong with the representative system. It's not what's bad about the representative system. In other words, maybe it's a kind of a cost benefit kind of thing. We put up with that stuff, but I'm just saying that in terms of this one particular issue, I would rather a situation where we all get to some way be heard and people actually listen to us. I don't think for 1 minute, that Andrew Cuomo cares what I think about what he ought to do next.
Josh,
I
really don't.
Josh, it's all yours.
He would
It's all
look you
yours.
dead in the eyes and act like he cared, though.
What do you think
like
Trump is doing? What do you think Trump is doing?
Nah.
Oh my
Yeah,
God damn it! God damn it!
Yeah, but you can look at Trump right back in his face and know that he's full of shit sometimes. I mean,
wait a minute. Hold on. If you really think that Trump is not doing what you want him to do, that's the president. He's not the representative. He's the president. He's leading. The president's supposed to be, first of all, in my opinion, the president's not supposed to be the leader of the country. He's not the boss of the country. He's not like a cruise director. He's the boss of the government.
Frank, one more
he's
time.
The guy listening to all the idea guys, and then he's the one making the final decisions because he's supposed to be the ultimate bias, like the ultimate bias for like the selflessness, and like he should be making the selfless decision.
Oh, okay. What is his role?
If trade's a big thing, then he works on trade. Right, so his role is to take all the advisors from every fucking division of like from intelligence to defense to economics to health to like, and then take all that information from all those people
and in taking that advice, he's also he should be getting from the people who advise him a feel for what the American people want as well.
Was just looking for the chief executive. That's all I was looking for. That's all I was looking for is the chief executive. That's it. The chief executive. That's all I was looking for.
See, look at it this way. Let's suppose you're on the assembly line at GM, and your job is
Frank, the government's not a business. It's not a business.
No. I'm
not a
just
good
giving you an
comparison.
example. And your job is just to bolt some bolts in the chassis as the car goes by on the assembly line. Okay? You don't expect
Josh, I'm
the
sorry.
chairman
Don't
of
leave. I'm
GM.
sorry.
You don't expect the chairman of GM to come down there and ask you what you think about the next thing he's going to do.
Oh.
Right? You expect him to make decisions for the company in your interest, and he's supposed to know what your interest is.
Okay, that's how.
Same thing with the.
That's
Okay,
how.
so
That's how a company
you
works.
could also look at them and be like, well, this machine would be easy to reprogram because you know something about how to work the CAD program that's built into it or something. So you could look at him and say, hey, you know, like, oh, this would be very simple to transform this into building this way. And he would like, oh, man, you know, then that's how he would become in charge of. So like that was the way that it used to work, but now it's just about knowing somebody up top. Because,
No, that's never ever how the government works. And I'm still waiting to learn. I'm still waiting to hear how this makes sense as an analogy to government. I'm waiting for it.
Well, what I'm trying to say is that there's a government that's run by the president, and then there's a Congress made up of the Senate and the House.
Okay.
Now, so they have two different ways of operating. What's supposed to happen is everything that happens in the government is supposed to be at the president's direction or approval.
Not true. I mean, kind of
Not
true.
true?
Kind of true, but not really true. There's a separation of powers, right? Isn't that like a
no.
Founding principle of this country? Isn't that like a
No. When I say government, I'm talking about government, not Congress.
Josh,
you understand what I'm saying?
Josh,
I'm not talking about the Congress.
Josh, we both cut you off. Finish your thought. I'm sorry.
You just heard what I said. That's the only reason. All I said was like, all I'm saying is Trump is not the ultimate authority in everything. Like, you know, he can be over.
No. I'm not saying he is. What I'm saying is this.
That's why we have levels of government to like keep from, you know, it becoming a dictatorship ultimately. You know, so we have, you know, like some sort of system in place to prevent that from happening.
That's literally the system.
Yes. But you misunderstood me. When I said that the president's in charge of the government, I meant that portion of the government that's represented by the executive branch.
Okay.
In other words, the various, you know, Treasury, Navy, Army, you know, whatever. Not Congress. The government part of it is they're mostly non-elected, and they mostly are the employees of the president. I mean, in theory.
Yeah, but as the president and as the main boss, that means he's already been through all the rest of it, and which is why, you know, all the people that hate Trump so much are always just because, like, you know, he's just a businessman that has learned to make money off of, you know, going bankrupt with daddy's money. You know, that's the main argument that you always have to deal with. And
prove
it wrong. Prove it wrong.
First of all, I don't think those things are relevant.
He's not the first one.
I don't think those things are relevant.
Like, he's not the first one to make money. So, like, I mean, you can point your fingers at all kinds of people. You know, like, just.
You can say that about a lot of presidents. You can say that about a lot of, like, for example, any vice president who was vice president when the president was assassinated was not elected to be president and may not have been ready to be president. And there's been a bunch of them. Okay? And yet they rise to the occasion. Lyndon Johnson had years of congressional experience.
Yeah, no, he was a very, very experienced guy. Yeah.
Okay?
No, to be clear, Frank, both of you, I'm not arguing that they probably both left office richer than they did when they got there, okay? But I'm also not suggesting that Trump, like, took this to, like, a parabolic level. It's like, we all expect all of them to get out of here, like, richer than they got here. Like, but he's obvious. Him and his family, dude. Okay, I gotta use the bathroom, but when I come back, I hope you will both be here to defend his fucking stupid ass stepson going to, like, Iraq, and it's like, he's his, like, Middle East, like, advisor. I hope you're both still back here to defend this to me, because
you should take us into your bathroom live, dude. You should take us live into your bathroom, dude.
Maybe I will. No, I won't do that. But if I do hope you're both still here when I come back.
All right, we'll be here.
All right, good.
I'll be here.
I love you.
Yeah,
guys.
Frank, I agree with you, man.
Can you hear me?
I love both of you guys.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me, Josh?
Yeah, I can hear you, man.
So where are you in the Midwest? In the Midwest, where do you live?
I grew up in Indiana, like West Harrison. It was just right outside of Cincinnati, Ohio. So like the tri-state, so Kentucky, Ohio, Indiana, right there.
And where do you live now?
I'm in Oregon, right out here with Kev.
Antifa
Oh,
country.
I see. Oh, okay. I thought you lived in the Midwest. So you grew up in the Midwest.
No. I grew up in the Midwest. I moved out here in 2010. I've been out here ever since. So.
Oh, okay. I see.
Yeah.
I see.
But yeah, man. I heard about all that stuff out there, and then like I said, it's just been weird around here. But
so did you move for a change in scenery, or did you have a job waiting for you, or what? When you moved,
change of scenery, just to get away and do something different. Yeah, man. Just I always cook, so you can take it everywhere. This is the first time I was like, shit, dude. Like this is the one time like you can't even like take your job and go anywhere. Like I've never had to deal with it.
Yeah.
Like this is.
Yeah. I see.
I don't even know.
I'm thinking about moving, and before I go through all the effort of getting the money together and doing all the work and everything, I have to be sure that I'm not just running away from here and just running to some other place.
Yeah, no, man. Yeah, no, I mean, mine definitely was like, I don't know if we're alive. Are we still alive?
Yeah.
Yeah, but
yeah,
no, I was kind of like running, but like at the same time, just wanted to change the scenery. I was just getting tired of the monotony and just the day to day, and it was nice. Like it was kind of weird and kind of different. It's definitely different personalities out here, very liberal views. And
so are you in Portland now?
Yeah, I'm in Portland.
So is that like a lot bigger than the town you lived in Indiana?
It's a lot more condensed, man. It's like it's a city, but there's like so many different places to go in the city, and it's like all within like 20 minutes drive. Like from edge to edge. I mean, you can hit Beaverton and like Gresham and shit like that, but and then it's a little more suburban. But
so how many people live in Portland? About how many people live in Portland?
I think like I don't know. Like I think just Portland Metro is like 1.2 million or something like that.
What's that? 1.2 million?
Yeah, I think so. I could be wrong, but I want to say like 3 million people in the metro area, like everywhere. Like
3 million, you said?
Yeah,
there's
like
3 million. There's 3 million in the metropolitan area.
Something
is that
like
what you say?
Maybe. I believe so.
Oh, I see. Okay.
But then there's like a lot of country. Like they're talking about making the Great Idaho or whatever. Like talking about forming Great Idaho because like gun rights and stuff. That Portland downtown is trying to take gun rights away, but like there's more population in the congested of an area, so it would only take away maybe like 8% of the population to take away like 3/4 of the state. Which is ridiculous.
The city I live in has about 70,000 people. The metropolitan area where I live is the New York City metropolitan area has about 20 million people. So it's a very odd situation to be in, because we like to feel like we're a small town.
Yeah. And cost of living out there is pretty high though. Is it pretty high cost of living?
Huh?
You have pretty high cost of living out there?
Pretty high cost of living? Well, thankfully, it's not as high as New York City. But Westchester County is the county I live in. It's a very expensive county. Yeah, the general cost of living, like for a family for four, is one of the highest in the country.
Say, fellas.
Well, Westchester County. Westchester County. Westchester County is divided by an interstate loop.
May
287.
May I just kill the live stream? I don't have to kill the Skype call if we want the conversation to go on. I just do have to.
Okay. All right. Okay. Yeah. All right. Sure.
Are we still live?
No, we're not yet. No.
No, we're just talking to each other now, right? Is that it?
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Okay. Good. Okay. Fine. No, we were just. I was just asking him about where he came from and what Portland was like in terms of how big it was, what kind of city it was.
Have you never been?
No. The only place I was out there was in SeaTac in Washington when I was going to Vietnam.
Oh, okay. So you've been to, we're live now, by the way. So you've never been to SeaTac, Washington?
I have, yeah.
You've been to
but I've never been to
SeaTac, but nowhere else on the West Coast.
Yes, well, California. No, I spent almost 2 years in California.
Okay. Oh.
I was stationed at Fort Ord.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I was in Monterey.
I have to say, sir, I've never been to your state, and you sound like a cartoon character to me.
Oh yeah. Yeah, well, I have a pretty heavy New York accent.
That is a fact, as a matter of fact.
Yeah,
it's like we're listening to an episode of Law and Order.
Yeah. I really don't know how that happened, to tell you the truth, because I don't live in New York City, but it just came out that way. Yeah.
I've known a few people with the accent, the New York accent. The hard ones are like the deep Boston ones, the Boston.
Yeah. Oh, hey Frank, what do you think about Boston?
I kind of like Boston. I think it
Boston?
was. Yeah, I did. I kind of like Boston. You don't mean the teams, do you? You're talking about the city of Boston. I've been to Boston.
I thought that wasn't allowed.
No. I've been to Boston a couple of times.
That's like Josh saying he likes the Browns.
No. I just like Boston because Boston's like a nice combination of old and new. It's like New Orleans, but not so foreign.
Yeah, it's certainly high. It's high on my list because, as you know, I'm a history guy. So I love the American Revolution, like that whole era.
Yeah.
That's very, very high on my list as far as tourist spots. Certainly like Gettysburg, Antietam, all that stuff. Like I love all that. Yeah. Josh, sorry. Go ahead. Yeah.
What was I saying?
I'm sorry. I thought I cut you off.
No, I wasn't saying anything.
Well, boys, we're about to. Both of you were the main event of this stream, if you will.
Oh yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm sorry. Did anybody make it to the end?
No. We're well on our way to the end. If I could get one of you.
I was wondering if anyone else made it to the end. I mean, you peaked at 6 viewers. I know that.
I know because I shut him down. Yeah. I shut him down. I told him no. I got to make room for Josh and Frank. That's what I told him.
I think I failed miserably when I didn't have the right thing on so that I could read the comments as we were going, so I couldn't answer them as they were like popping up.
No, it's fine. It's fine. There'll be other streams. This was a lot of fun, fellas, and I am going to. We're coming up on 3 hours, which is a good amount of time for a stream. So I am going to shut this one down. So if you guys want to say so long to the folks, feel free. If not, that's cool too.
Okay.
Yo, peace out. Stay home. Stay safe. Stay away from everyone. Everyone's going to kill you.
Frank, you got anything?
Yeah. Well, I'm going to tell you something. I know that when this thing comes to an end, and I don't care when it comes to an end. It could be tomorrow. It could be September. When this thing comes to an end, I'm going to go outside, and unless there is a vaccine, I'm going to catch the virus. It may not kill me, may not even make me very sick, but the virus is out there. It's going to bounce from person to person. It's not going to go away. And without a vaccine, whenever they shut this thing down and let everybody go free again, everybody is going to get sick. If you didn't get sick before, you're going to get sick in the future. It could be a week, 2 weeks, 4 weeks, 8 weeks, but it got to happen. That's the way viruses work. Viruses don't quit just because we change our ways. And so that's why I'm in favor of. So I'm in favor of, look, let's just stop this nonsense, and let's let everybody get sick and treat it and take it let the chips fall where they may, and get on with our lives.
Josh,
because
Frank, sorry, Josh, jump in. Say what you're going to say.
I was just going to say, didn't Trump say that anybody that went to the doctor for like anything coronavirus related, it was going to be paid for anyway? So like, if you feel symptoms, you know, you get the fever and shit like that, you just go and get tested, right? Like we got tests now, right? I guess I don't know.
So Trump endorsed Medicare for all? Is that?
He said anybody that went to the doctor for coronavirus was going to get it paid for. So like even with anybody without any kind of health insurance could go if you had symptoms of coronavirus and you got tested.
I don't think money is the issue. I think it's how sick do you have to be before you go to the doctor. And one thing we have to change our ways about, at least for the time being, is the minute you feel sick, get yourself to a doctor. Don't wait around till you're carried out on a gurney in the back of an ambulance.
There's hypochondriacs out there that are going to think they're sick the minute that they're warm, and it's only because it's 70 degrees and they've been laying outside for 3 hours drinking a beer, you know? And then it's going to be, oh, man, you know, I probably got a fever. I should go and get tested, you know? But so they run and do it, you know, as opposed to, like, people that, like...
I give most people more credit than that. I believe that, first of all, there's three main symptoms, right? Dry cough, difficulty breathing, and a fever. If you have the three of those, go to the doctor.
Frank, why would you give why would you give people more credit? Dude, why would you be optimistic about people?
Because most people are trying to stay alive.
Josh, handle that.
That's what they're
handle
trying
that,
to do.
Please, handle that. Handle that.
I think most people, yes. Most people, yes, but it's like for every like top 1%, there's like that bottom like 8 maybe. That just like
suppose there is a bottom 1 or 2%. You know, one guy from New Rochelle.
Oh, Frank.
Okay, one guy in 48 hours infected over 100 people.
Frank, I love you. I love you. You gotta let him finish. I love you. You gotta let him finish.
But it's all that money. It's all the money that's wasted just through the Medicare, Medicaid system, or like, you know, just like I'm not saying that like that money is a lot, but and it's nickels and dimes compared to what we fucking spend, but that's what raises the cost of health insurance. So to people like me, I don't even have it because I'm just like, well, fuck, why would I drop $250 a month just so that like they could potentially pay for my shit when I'm just like, fuck it, dude, I don't really care that much, you know, and I don't even go to the doctor, and I haven't spent no money. I've spent maybe $600 in the last 10 years for doctors, and I've paid out of pocket every time. And I'm like, oh, it's cheaper than paying the premiums just to have insurance. So like, because I don't want to pay $250 a month, because that's like almost a little less than a quarter of my check per month.
No, I understand completely, because when I tried to get Medicare, I found out that because of the quotes in the system, it was going to cost me at least $200 a month. So forget about Medicare. I go to the VA for my medical care, and they don't take care of everything, but they take care of everything that's wrong with me now. And the only thing I need is dental work, which they don't supply.
No, you said you went through SeaTac to go to Vietnam, so like, yeah, you deserve that shit. Like, you should have that shit anyway, right?
Yeah, but that's not the point I'm trying to make. The point I'm trying to make is they don't care if you're a veteran when you want to pay for Medicare. They don't care if you're a veteran when you have to pay to spend down for Medicaid. You got to pay it. To spend down for Medicaid is at least $150 a month. To pay Medicare, the monthly deduction for my Social Security is going to be more than $200 a month. I'm just not paying that much when I'm not going to be sick every month. That's a lot of money to pay.
Frank,
pay for something down the road.
I'm not sure that's true. In fact, I'm pretty sure that's not true, actually.
What do you mean? What's not true?
No, just like you seem to be suggesting that like public health care is more expensive than private health care, and that's just not true. It's on its face.
No,
not true.
No. I'm not saying that.
Okay.
I'm saying that I can't put that money out every month, just in case I get sick. I just can't pay that much.
Okay. Well,
I just can't do
it. It's a lot better if we all put out a little bit every month instead of putting out a lot once every like 30 months. That's basically the point of like Medicare for all, right? Like that's exactly why.
But in the end, when you have a system where you have paid premiums and you just, like, for example, when I was on Medicaid, when my income was so low and I had a family, so they were counting, the size of my family and everything. When they were counting all of that, then when I had Medicaid, I didn't pay anything. And I went to the clinic, right? When I went to the clinic, the medical care that I got was kind of